And welcome back everybody for the second broadcast today within 24 hours. Welcome back everyone to Team GP's Who is Amateur King number 3 Group D. I'm of course your host Live VIP, and soon TM hopefully soon I'll be not alone. I'll be joined by my fellow co-caster AsherBro. Will be joining me at some point in today's broadcast. Just a couple of technical issues, but again he will not be gone for long. But before we get too far into that, we already have our first series of the day. Let's go, because spawning in the top right hand corner of 2000 atmospheres LE, we have the South Korean Terran player himself representing Team NV. It is QuanTa. And spawning in the bottom left hand corner of 2000 atmospheres ALE, we have for the second time today, we casted him earlier today in Sentimiento Latino, but here he is again in Who is Amateur King, the Brazilian Zerg player representing Team Super. It is TheZergLord. Oh my god. So yes, welcome back everyone to another week of Who is Amateur King. You know, it's been great to see kind of the rise and fall of certain players, and this is it. This is the final group of the group stage. A, B, and C have all been played out. Exclamation mark B in the chat if you want to have a look at the brackets yourselves, at the group, sorry, yourselves, and you can see all the results. We were able to cast the majority of them. Unfortunately, Group C was played out last night. Group C was actually played out at the same time as C Duckling Open, so unfortunately we couldn't cast both. Obviously, it was also short notice. We had to prioritize our own tournament, and it meant that Group C was not televised, from my knowledge. Maybe there was a Korean stream, maybe, but again, it was really kind of short notice. So yeah, Group C, unfortunately there wasn't a stream, and I guess we can delve into some of those results later on, but here we are in Group D, and honestly I'm pretty excited. TheZergLord is one of the best players in all of Latin America. He's definitely up there amongst the best of the best. He's taken down players like Chan before, you know, he can do it all. But he's up against a Korean player, a Korean who I'm almost certain he has never played against. It just hasn't happened. These kind of regions haven't really collided in that way. So QuanTa, being, you know, a solid Korean semi-pro, I think is what I would say. He is on a pro team. He's on Team NV, but again, not the most notable player on Team NV. And because of that, it's kind of hard to say, hard to judge who has the edge here. Oh my god, as QuanTa just dives in, gets the creep tumor, and actually bypasses the queen, but with the intercepts, will end up losing that Reaper in the end. A little bit greedy there. At least he did confirm, you know, that there was droning going on at the natural base. There was a third base. Not ideal that he lost the Reaper, but he got something done with it. As we're getting into a longer macro game, feels bad, man. I wish AsherBro was with me. Feels bad, man, because AsherBro, of course, he is the Terran expert. Just period, you know, he's the guy to go to. And we're getting into a longer TVZ, you know, we see a third CC before Starport. Very macro oriented opener here from QuanTa, so this is going to be a longer one. So I feel a little bit bad that AsherBro isn't here. Again, just some technical issues. He will be joining me soon, TM. Just not for game one, but maybe even game 2 of this series. Fingers crossed, everyone. Fingers crossed. Cross your Ethernet cables for AsherBro, and hopefully all the issues will be resolved for game number 2. Oh boy. But here we go. Hellions are kind of dipping in for the moment, taking out a creep tumor. And speaking about the ZergLord a little bit, for people who maybe aren't familiar with him, because, you know, we're at a time zone that's not really that great for Latin America, he probably is best known for his ZVZ. He has a pretty damn good ZVZ. That's probably his best matchup. Against Terran, he is okay, but he can tunnel vision on lair tech a little bit too much. He's not really known for lurker play, more of a Ling Bane Muta kind of player. And he can do really well with it, don't get me wrong, but again, transitioning into Hive, transitioning into late game can be his weak points. So I'm a little bit concerned for him in this series, but again, I'll be honest, I think this is the first time I'm casting QuanTa. I'm not familiar with him. I don't recall him playing in too many ESL Open Cup Asias. He's not too active in Sparkling Tuna Cup. He's just not the most active player, period. So I don't know what he has to offer. I don't know how good he is. I'll be honest. It's a little bit more of an enigma here. In my eyes, at least, in my eyes. Oh boy. Meanwhile, everything is looking pretty standard here from the ZergLord. Ling Bane is the name of the game. Lair is on the way. So far, we haven't seen any additional gases taken. Only 3 gases. Oh, there we go. 4th gas and double Evo chamber being thrown down. So again, nothing too crazy to really take note of. Again, just more of a standard Ling Bane versus bio play. But the difference is that QuanTa did actually invest into Cloak, did go for that Banshee, and now we have double Banshees going across the map. Has this been scouted by the ZergLord? No, this was. He did confirm the tech lab earlier. We already have Spores, we already have Queens. Looks like we should be fine, and we even have mobile detection on the way. Observers are already finishing up as well. There we go. No Overlord speed, but again, we don't necessarily need them. We have 2 Overseers. We are fine. Banshees rock up, but we have plenty of anti-air to push all of this away. QuanTa's opener hasn't really done too much, but what I will say is that thankfully these Banshees are still alive. They didn't throw away their lives. The potential for damage is still here, whether they can pick off a Queen here or there, maybe some drones, maybe try and force a cancel. You know, that they can still get stuff done. As they're sharking around behind the bases on 2K atmospheres. Meanwhile, again, we have our melee upgrades. Ling Bane is the name of the game. If this was any other player, I would assume that maybe the Zerg player wants to go Ling Bane straight into Hive, straight into Ultras, but it's a ZergLord. I imagine we're going to see a Spire at some point. It's just kind of his MO, as we see a macro hatch being thrown down for even more of a Ling Bane commitment. And no, it is not a Spire. He is going straight into a Hydra Den instead. So maybe actually looking to go into Ling Bane Lurker. I mean, Lurkers are pretty good. They're pretty goddamn good. We'll see if he can make them work. Meanwhile, QuanTa is finally moving out across some heat. This is scouted, as the ZergLord did have vision, did have eyes on that Zelnaga tower. He does reposition the rest of his army, getting ready for a pseudo surround here. Army on the low ground, army on the high ground, waiting for QuanTa to push on in. And with only 2 tanks, oh, he immediately gets surrounded. Ay. Both tanks go down. At least with a hot pickup, QuanTa keeps the majority of his Marines alive. Not the best trade there by the ZergLord. I don't know if you noticed, but he did crash a decent amount of Banelings into those tanks. So not the best trade, but getting 2 tanks is still pretty solid, and he's able to force QuanTa all the way back. So just solid defenses so far by the ZergLord. He's taken his initial gases. There we go, 2 gases at the 4th base. 5th base. We still lack all of our gases here at the 4th, but I'm sure he's going to get them at some point. Hydra Den is done. We are lacking an Infestation Pit. We are lacking a Lurker Den though. So Ling Bane, Hydra for the time being. Still can't go into those Lurkers quite yet, but I'm sure that's on the horizon. Meanwhile, we have a bit of a double jump here towards the north and towards the south. Creep Spread, for the most part, has eyes on this. Does the ZergLord have enough to deal with this, though? With Ling Hydra, I'm sure he does. The drop here towards the north. I mean, there's Bailings here as well. Oh, God, no! What's up? Notices, but we'll lose a couple of Marines in the process. Meanwhile, these Marines are going to be able to dive on top of some of these Hydras, but there's just too much supply here. The ZergLord defends on both ends, on both angles. Does lose a bit of creep here, so he has to be on top of respreading this creep. Has to say, there we go. The Queens are already on the way. The ZergLord, he's on top of things. Again, mate, you know, he doesn't play against Koreans often, but he can definitely hold a candle to them. Like, he's honestly keeping up quite well here with QuanTa. I'm honestly very impressed. We'll see if he can keep this up, as QuanTa working on 2-2. I'm sure he's not going to want to push out without that. Just sending a couple of drops here and there. The first wave of Hellions moving out as well, just to keep that creep in check. And again, I'm still waiting for the Lunkaden. Where are the Lurkers? Like, Infestation Pit is on the way, but still no Lurkers. So just relying on Ling Bane Hydra here for the time being. It's a little bit scary. Oh god, thankfully there are no tanks with this push, just Marines and just Hellbats, so not the scariest push. We should have plenty on the ground to deal with this, especially pushing onto creep. So QuanTa, he just clears up a couple of tumors. He will back off from here. Another double jump towards the south. Creep was being respread, and the ZergLord has beautifully split up his army, so he can meet both drops at once. Oh, I say that, but this army here towards the north is looking a little bit more scary. We may not have enough Banelings here to really contend with this. Yeah, he's trying to focus down that hatchery. Banelings are stuck behind the Hydras, no! But enough Lings are able to rook up. QuanTa is forced back once again. And now the ZergLord has his infestation pit. But this is where I'm worried. We need a hive. We need a hive, and we need lurkers. We are lacking in some tech here. 2-2 is on the way, which is great, but there we go. Oh, the ZergLord, he's on top of things. Hive and Lurker Den are on the way. A little bit delayed because he was dealing with all the aggression, but it's still on the way regardless. Creep being respread. We are lacking some creep here, so hopefully he's going to be on top of things soon. Meanwhile, QuanTa already meeting with him as well. Ghost Academy on the way. You could argue maybe the ghosts are a little bit late, but at the same time, the Lurker Den is late. So, it's okay. You know, it's fine, it's fine. It's QuanTa's force all the way back. Again, just clearing up this creep and just taxing the multitasking of the ZergLord. And this is kind of working. These queens have a lot to do. They need to respread creep here towards the south and towards the north. And this has been left alone for a while now. Like, QuanTa's next push is going to hit harder. And we still don't have lurkers. Like, again, this Lurker Den could have been, we could have had Lair Tech lurkers. Not the best kind of lurkers, but, you know, still better than none. Meanwhile, here we go. Finally, QuanTa, he's pushing out not just with his bio, but also with his tanks. At the same time, the ZergLord is going for a bit of a run by, and honestly, this is pretty crucial. He forces QuanTa to respond. He delays this push that much longer. The ZergLord will eventually be forced back, but again, at least QuanTa was left idle here. He wasn't applying any of that pressure to the base, and the ZergLord is given time to finish up his Lurker Den and get lurkers up and running. I say all that. Looking at the units tab, we still don't have any lurkers. So, a little bit scary. A little bit. There we go. Our first wave of lurkers are on the way. 3 lurkers in production here. QuanTa was delayed long enough to allow the ZergLord to get them up and running. At the same time, he's getting ready for a bit of another run by. Drop actually going to go right over the Hydras. Uh-oh. No! QuanTa! Oh my god! Both drops immediately get dealt with, and now we have that counterattack. At the same time, QuanTa wants to push in. Oh my god, look at all these Lings. They're gonna flood in. The wall is not a wall. The tanks are left completely unattended. At the same time, QuanTa is trying to push in, but pushing into lurkers is a very difficult thing to do, especially without any ghosts. Meanwhile, here we go. The Lings, they rush on forward. Third base is gonna go down. 23 SCVs full, and now QuanTa, he's forced to push into creep. Banelings do crash into the Marines. Decent splits towards the end, but again, with these lurkers, it's really hard to find any kind of room here. At the same time, Lings just continue to flood on forward. They get into the natural base. Hydra's pushing in as well. The ZergLord, he's doing it. Again, all he has to do is defend at home. The damage has already been dealt. The Ghost Academy, honestly, pretty exposed as well. But here we go. QuanTa, he says, screw it, let's just go. He pushes deep into creep. All the Banelings go down, and now he's actually going to be able to get this base. There may not have been enough here for the ZergLord to defend. Oh my god. We still only have a handful of lurkers. Meanwhile, across the map, the ZergLord is being cleaned up, but here come the reinforcements from the ZergLord. He gets on top of all the Marines, all the tanks, and he will be able to clean all of this up. The ZergLord, sure, he loses a base, but you know what? He only lost 3 drones, as opposed to, looking at the units lost tab, the 43 SCVs of QuanTa. SCVs here at the third base, SCVs at the natural. The ZergLord is miles ahead. His drone count has barely been touched. And you know what? Now those hive upgrades are finishing up. Adaptive Talents is done. 3-3 on the way. 8 more lurkers as well. The ZergLord in complete control. Finally, we have ghosts. But there honestly there aren't that many of them, and the Lings are getting on top of the ghosts. The ghosts barely managed to escape. A little bit of an inefficient trade here. There weren't any Banelings, so QuanTa actually takes a decent fight. Oh, the snipes! Ooh, the snipes do not get those lurkers in the end. Oh god, I mean, QuanTa is making some magic happen right now, but it's just not enough. Oh god, the meat grinder is insane. The ZergLord once again holding on, remaxing with pure Lings. and double expanding here towards the south. Even if the ZergLord loses this hatchery, as long as he keeps the drones alive, he will be perfectly fine. He can just rotate on towards the south here. The creep is what's really hurting the ZergLord. Again, he never respread it, so it's really hard for him to fight here. But even so, it's just a numbers game. Like, QuanTa just doesn't really have enough. At the same time, another Ling run by, and QuanTa, he just can't afford not to be mining here from his third. Ay, ay, ay. And meanwhile, I feel like this is the nail in the coffin. Vipers are on the way as well. To be fair, it's going to take time. Vipers do have to gather that energy. They have to suck on some buildings, and it'll take some time before they can really throw down any blinding clouds. So until then, the ghosts, you know, they're getting a couple of snipes here and there. They're getting a couple of lurker kills. But here we go. The ZergLord is pulling the trigger. We have Ling bait. Oh, God, he doesn't commit. He probably could if he unburred all his lurkers, not gonna lie. Like, there's only 3 tanks. Just go for it, mate. Just go for it. He's not feeling too confident. To be fair, the ZergLord doesn't know if there's more tanks behind this. He doesn't really know how large this army is. And now QuanTa's going for a bit of a multi-prong attack. Another bit of a Ling run by. It's going to get cleaned up. We have a small force of Ling Bane going over here towards the south. Is it going to be enough? It looks like it will. There aren't too many Marines. Lings are getting shaved off though, but in come those Banelings. The ZergLord will clean up that small force towards the south. Again, this army towards the north can also, like, the ZergLord is really respecting this army. Like, you can see the supplies are pretty similar, army supplies I mean, but a lot of that supply are in these medevacs, you know? QuanTa's army is not that large. Meanwhile, we have a Nidus in the main base. The ZergLord, he is done defending at home. He wants to be the aggressor. Looks like the Nidus will not get up. It will be cleaned up here in the main. Nice defense here by QuanTa. He will be able to tighten up his defenses in his main. And I'm just... the ZergLord is... he's maxed out, puppy. Just go for it. He's trying to go for another Nidus. There's 3 tanks. But here we go. Finally, he's going for it. I guess he was waiting for his Vipers and all of that energy. He is fully stocked up. He will collapse on this army. Takes down 2 of the tanks. Only a single tank will survive. At the same time, a little bit of a run by, but not the most efficient run by. Banelings and Hydras are going to get cleaned up here towards the south. But regardless, the ZergLord is looking to take out this CC. Oh boy, and honestly, he can go further. Again, there's only 1 tank with the Vipers. Here we go. We do have a bit of a yoink there. The tank gets taken down. A couple more tanks are coming in to replenish that. They are rotating over towards from that 3rd base. So QuanTa is, you know, he's kind of catching up in that army supply. Kind of. And yo, he's got a double jump. He's actually going to take out this base. Oh my God. Is QuanTa doing it? He gets the base for free. He's going to get every single worker. The ZergLord, he comes back home with a handful of Hydras to clean up the Spio army. He will be able to clean it up eventually. Meanwhile, we have a snipe. Vipers get taken out. Oh my God, and QuanTa isn't done. He takes down 1 base. He wants another. He's overstimming, but mate, it's all good. It's a one-way trip. The Marines, they go for the drones, and they're going to get them. 25 drones go down. Ay, ay, ay. Not like this, not like this. The ZergLord is gonna rotate back around again. Doesn't really want to push into this. I understand, like, there are 4 tanks here. There's a nice concave, but here we go, another nice into the main base. But QuanTa is ready for it. He's always ready. God, meanwhile, the ZergLord once again comes in here towards the south, but he's gonna lose 2 lurkers for free. These are kind of expensive losses. The ZergLord does have an economy to sustain these losses, but again, just not the best fights. Uh-oh. QuanTa's not done. He's coming back. There's no creep. The army is a little bit out of position. QuanTa's gonna get more drone kills, maybe even get the base. Oh my God. Well, let's go. QuanTa in the end, he will not get the base. He does trade quite well. 10 more drones go down, and he's able to save the majority of this army. Like, again, not a bad trade here for QuanTa. Meanwhile, ooh, a little bit of an ambitious base here. The army of the ZergLord will not allow this to happen. CC could go down, and the ZergLord can keep pushing from here. He has to be careful. There are still a lot of tanks defensively, and I don't believe he rebuilt his Vipers, and he didn't. Looking at the units tab, and the drop comes back! Oh my God. The ZergLord, not like he's been maxed for so long. He unfortunately waited for too long, lost all his Vipers. The drops were able to kill 2 bases in the matter of moments, and now they can just keep going back in. The ZergLord, he doesn't have a Spire, he doesn't have any Corruptors, he doesn't really have a reliable way to deal with all these drops. Oh my god. QuanTa doing so well with what little he has. The problem is that at the end of the day, the ZergLord has to contain him. If you look at the mineral patches, QuanTa is running out of money. He has 8 patches here at the 4th. He has 10 patches at the 3rd. He needs another base soon. Otherwise, he will just starve out. And all the ZergLord has to do, the reality is, he just has to deny a 5th base. That's all he has to do. He doesn't have to end things. He doesn't have to overextend. Meanwhile, it looks like QuanTa, he knows this, he's breaking out, catches another lurker, gonna clear up these lanes. It looks like QuanTa wants to expand here towards the north, does have a CC ready and waiting. If QuanTa gets a 5th up and running, he can totally make this work. Like real talk. He just needs a 5th. He just needs another base. Oh my god. Can he do it? As we have another Nidus here in the natural base of QuanTa. Once again, it does get scouted. His army will respond. Niduses will not finish up here. Another double drop here towards the south. Ooh, this time the Hydras will be able to pick off one of those medevacs. Bases being resaturated, more bases being taken. The ZergLord already in position to deny this 5th base from QuanTa. Again, he knows he just has to deny bases. That's all he's got to do. He just has to stay calm, take out the CCs. And that's a lot of lurkers. Oh, God. As QuanTa desperately needs this base, so desperately, he's actually going to keep going here. There's not a lot of Link Bane with this army. It's purely lurker, so with almost pure tank, QuanTa's going to be able to force his way through, does get another hatchery. Not the most important hatchery, but at least he gets it. Meanwhile, the ZergLord is going for a full surround! Ah! Link's coming from behind, they close the distance, and this time there is no way to recover. QuanTa loses everything. He did so well getting back into this game, slowly being able to build up his supply, but now that all the tanks are gone, there is nothing stopping the ZergLord from diving into that 4th base. It was a hard-fought battle. The ZergLord almost through. Real talk, he almost through. Kind of. GG gets called, and the ZergLord will take game number 1. GG. Oh my god. And, and with that, GG, well played. The ZergLord takes game number 1. And not just that, as one Terran falls, another rises. Welcome, AsherBro. Welcome to the stream.
Hello. That was perfect timing. Want to hold on just long enough for me to join. What a hero.
Is everything okay, AsherBro? Is everything okay?
I think so. I think we're good.
Okay. Oh boy. So yes, welcome AsherBro, and honestly, I want to, you know, as much as I want to say, you know, the ZergLord played well, I feel like QuanTa needed a Terran in his corner. You know, I feel like that's really what what hurt him there. Were you watching the game perchance?
Yeah, I was watching a little bit. I saw lurkers, I saw Terran units dying. I've seen it before, mate. I've seen it before.
It happens, mate. It happens.
It always happens.
shaking my head. But yes, the ZergLord did not end up taking the first game, and honestly, I was a little bit impressed just because we don't see too often Brazilian players go up against Korean players. It just doesn't happen. The ZergLord didn't even know what race QuanTa played at the start of the day. He was like, "Who are you?" So it's always cool to see these different regions, you know, collide. And here we go. We are diving into game number 2 of this best of 3 series, and spawning in the top left-hand corner of Berlingrad LE, we have the orange Terran player himself representing Team NV, currently down in this series, but not out, not yet. It is QuanTa.
And starting with the lead, playing beautifully in the first game, nice and patient. Made the lunkers, got the win. It is Team Super, TheZergLord.
It's not easy making lunkers, okay?
I'll have to take your word for it. Looks pretty easy from where I'm sitting. No, but that was a super impressive game from TheZergLord. I really liked his patience as well. He didn't just chomp at every opportunity and throw away his leads. He took his time and he picked apart the Terran, so that was really cool.
Yeah. I mean, more often than not, we have seen some Zerg players just ape it up and just ram their faces into a brick wall and kind of lose a little bit too much. So yeah, it was some nice patient play from the ZergLord. Meanwhile, from our Terran player here, I also wanted to pick your brain a little bit. I wanted to know if you were familiar with QuanTa. I don't know if maybe Vindicta has been playing with him or something along those lines.
Yeah, I've seen them play a little bit on Korea. I'm definitely familiar with him, and I've seen him stream a little bit on Twitch as well. Yeah, just quite a solid, kind of that middle sort of level of, middle to high level of GM, where it's not quite the tip-top pros or anything like that, but definitely a very, very solid Korean GM, QuanTa.
Yeah, exactly. And that's kind of what this tournament is all about, right? You know, we don't necessarily have the best from Latin America. We don't necessarily have the best from Korea. But, you know, this is still like an opportunity for them to really make a name for themselves and show to everyone how good they can be, especially compared to each other. So even though QuanTa may have had a harder time there in game number 1, what I will say is that when the game got really scrappy, like, mate, QuanTa was all over the place. Like, he was dropping left and right. He was taking out bases. Like, I know you weren't able to see it all, but, like, he was able to, like, snipe 2 hatcheries like in a matter of seconds as well. Like he was getting crazy towards the end. It's a shame that it took a while for him to really like go Super Saiyan and really start, you know, being that active.
Yeah, these Korean Terrans, they're really, really good once they get a bit of momentum. So once they can start getting these drops here, the drops there, and things start going in their favor, you can really see a lot of the players from that server have some fantastic multitasking. Really, once the ball's in their court and they can flex that multitasking, that's where you really see them take off. But for now, just seeing a pretty standard game out of both of them. We've got the 2cc 111 from QuanTa here, so nothing too crazy. A bit more on the safe side than the 3cc.
Yeah, it kind of made sense for him to go for that 3rd CC on 2K atmospheres here on a bit of a smaller map, maybe a little bit more scared as, oh my god, he is actually going into BCs.
Let's go. Yeah, so you can see he's got the Marine there positioned, just anticipating the scout coming in with that Overlord, so he'll be all over that. Just trying to make sure that this BC comes as much of a surprise as possible when it first goes in. And I'll be really interested to see. I'm not sure if he's a mech player or not. I know he played bio in the first game, but there has been a bit more of BC into bio plays recently in the meta.
Yeah, I'm curious as well because I myself I'm familiar. I don't know if he does play mech. BC into mech can happen. Meanwhile, it looks like the Overlord is going to slip in. Unfortunately, one of the Marines left a little bit idle. He will confirm, but I love the fake out here with the cloak.
Yeah, this is really smart, and I think he did get it just in time that the Overlord didn't see it start. We did have the one Marine kind of slacking off, having a look at the pipes, making sure everything was going well over in the trees over there. And other Marine calls over to him. He's like, mate, Smoker's over. You got work to do.
Feels bad, man. Feels bad. So unfortunately, the tech lab was scouted, but at least he was able to maybe give out a bit of a fake out. Regardless, though, the ZergLord is now getting ready for Banshees, and you know will pseudo be ready for BCs. Hopefully.
Yeah. So with the necessary protection from the Banshees, he will be sort of prepared, but in some ways, it can be worse if you think that you only need to make enough for Banshees and the rest is dedicated just to drones.
True.
People are so sharp now with their defense of these Hellion Banshee builds that I would expect that he cuts any corners that he can here.
Yeah, exactly. It's all about how many queens are going to be active out on the map and whether or not he's going to be prepared for this. Meanwhile, something else that's interesting, as we do have a decent Hellion force, is that we have an armory behind this as well. So it's not just BCs, and we have confirmation it is mech.
Yeah, and with the one armory, I actually think this is going to be a Hellbat BC timing. So this is not something you see that often. I know Dolan actually was a big proponent of this build. It's the only time I've ever seen it recently,
Oh
to be
my
honest.
god, let's go! The Hellbats rock on forward. We do have a couple of Banelings, but the splits are actually looking pretty decent here. The Banelings do get dealt with, the BC comes in. Oh god, but the Hellbats aren't really doing too much.
Yeah, very cute move with the grenade there, just to try to spread out the Banelings and the Queens. But with so few Hellbats, actually not too much got done. And I don't think he's even forced too many extra units, to be honest.
Yeah, exactly. In the end, I don't think he even got a queen. No, 0 queens have gone down somehow, some way. And the TheZergLord just shuts down this opener.
Yeah, this is a 1-kill battlecruiser, and to be honest, it's lucky to get out alive. This is going to be... Yeah, to just survive there, but... This was beautifully shut down by the TheZergLord. He was all over this, and not necessarily from a position where he knew what was happening.
Yeah, he had no idea. He just happened to have some Banelings ready anyway. He never even scouted the... Oh no, my apologies. Quickly looking at his vision, he actually did scout the armory. So he did have a bit of a heads up here. I guess maybe he slipped a Ling in, or maybe an Overseer. Thankfully, because of that, he was able to prepare. And now QuanTa's coming in this from a little bit behind. And oh my god, going straight into Thor's even.
Yeah, this is fascinating. I'm not sure if he saw the Spire and is preparing for these potential mutas, but yeah, very, very interesting to go straight for the Thors here. Not really something I see too often.
Yeah, looking at his vision, he hasn't seen the Spire at the 3rd base. Maybe seeing the gases maybe tipped him off. I don't know. I don't know if that's really enough of a tell. But yeah, just really peculiar here.
Yeah, I'm not sure if this is perhaps something that he's prepared particularly. Maybe there's... I'm not sure if there's any more Starport units coming either. It's a 1 BC for now.
Yeah, I noticed the reactor on the Starport, and I was like, oh, maybe Thor drops or something crazy like that, but we don't see any medevacs for the time being, so just Thor's kind of chilling at home for the time being. Meanwhile, Hellions do go for a bit of a run by, but again, there's plenty of Lingbane here to defend, and the mutas are on the way. Thankfully, we have more than enough Thors, so QuanTa should be relatively okay against this.
Yeah, I'm wondering if maybe it's just a little adjustment to the smaller size of the map that the Thors will be able to get over quickly. And we do see some medevacs started up, so it could be some Thor drops coming as well.
Yeah, let's go. Again, the medevacs were a little bit delayed, but they are on the way. So QuanTa gonna make some magic happen with these Thors potentially. Mutas are moving out across the map, but the medevacs are even gonna help out just defending against the mutas, right? Because they can boost, and there we go. The Thors are gonna be able to reposition.
Yeah, got a little bit lucky with the Hellion movement to see the mutas coming there. So he's all over this, but on the other side as well, this defense from TheZergLord up until now has been really good, but the battlecruiser getting a couple of queens now. Finally getting some value out of this battlecruiser.
Oh my god, yeah, in the end, 3 queens were taken out. BC will go down in the end, but again, it wasn't the biggest commitment into the BC. At least it was able to kind of pay for itself, and now we're kind of slowing things down a little bit here. The TheZergLord switching out of mutas back into roaches.
Yeah, I'm a little bit worried for QuanTa here. I'm not exactly sure what the plan is going forward here. Especially with the mech, you really prefer to have a much bigger economy at this stage of the game, so he's definitely hoping to get some damage done with these Thor drops. But the muta's just coming in such an annoying time.
Yeah, exactly. We need the Thors at home, puppy, but he doesn't turn around. We have a quadruple Thor drop headed towards the other side of the map. At the same time, mutas are kind of wasting their time with this barrack, so at least QuanTa has time to get these missile starts up and running to get more Thors out of this production. And here we go. The Thors are across the map.
Mate, he's doing a quad Thor drop. You think he cares about mutas? This is a Shad Terran we've got here.
What is happening? He can snipe the Spire! Ah!
Yeah, that's actually huge. These Thors are going to chunk down that Spire from above. And oh my goodness.
Whoa, what?
That just disappeared.
He just deleted the Spire, mate. Oh my god.
Is this new meta? Oh, but this is going to be quite difficult to get these Thors out.
Oh god, it looks like in the end the Thors are gonna be saved just barely. The Hellies were here just in time as well. Oh my god, no! 1 Thor will get taken out, and I don't know if there's really enough Zerg here. I mean, it looks like he's gonna be able to force his way through the tank, but QuanTa holds on.
Yeah, the Thor getting taken out there, but soaking up a lot of mutas. Pretty cost-effective trade there, and buys a lot of time for these Hellions just to soak up the rest of it. And kind of just back to square one.
Yeah. I'm still a little bit in awe about how fast that Spire died. He also denied +1 air attack as well, which could be significant. Obviously no mutas in production anymore. The Spire is being rebuilt. What little mutas there are left are gonna try and do whatever damage they can, but yeah, mate, the Thors are not. They're all over this.
Yeah, I mean, another attack coming in from the right here with the Banes and the Ravages, so just trying to create a bit of misdirection, taking advantage of the lack of mobility of the mech army, and there's a lot of SCVs going down.
Yeah, exactly. Every single SCV at the third base is going to get cleaned up here. The ZergLord just masterfully was able to kind of bait the army with the mutas, come in with the Ling Bane, and QuanTa, you were talking about his economic situation before, and even now it's just really struggling. But you know what? These Thors, they want another Spire.
Oh my goodness, that is one-shot that Queen.
Oh my god.
This is insane, but I do worry for him that as much as it's impressive to get all these pickoffs, in terms of the overall game plan, it really does feel like ZergLord is coming away with this game.
Yeah, it does feel that way. Oh god. The Greater Spire was just scouted, by the way, so maybe that's going to be a target later on, or at least QuanTa will be able to repair people. No! Oh god!
No! Oh my goodness.
Jesus Christ.
What a daredevil, man. All calculated.
Don't go back in! Okay. Calm down, buddy. Jesus
We
Christ.
are seeing, just the one Hellbat to the side there. So I guess, recognizing he is a little behind in this game, just trying to go for some not too committed harass. Although, to be honest, if that medevac had gone down with the Thor inside, that's a very expensive loss.
Yeah. Not gonna lie, I kind of want some more medevacs.
But there's more Thors, mate.
Exactly, but every Thor needs a medevac, okay? Oh god, but we see a transition into Liberators, a little bit more sane here. The army of the ZergLord is going to be trying to hit this third base once again. To be fair, this is where the army is, but again, we've just seen mass Thor production, no tanks because of the Thors.
Yeah, I think at this point, ZergLord with the lead he has and going up to 90 drones already, is probably pretty happy to just trade with the mech army, knowing he's ahead on economy.
Yeah, 91 drones is pretty insane. You know, his economy is looking beautiful right now, and here we go. The 11 Broodlords are now on the way. There are Thors which will help against them, and they are pretty mobile because of those medevacs. I'm curious to see how this dynamic is going to work out here.
Yeah, it's a very curious choice, if I'm being honest. I don't totally understand it, because QuanTa has almost blindly just gone into a mass Thor style.
Yeah.
So if they can get on top of these Broodlords are going to evaporate, but there is a good amount of ground army as well.
Yeah, true. The Lings are coming in. There are a handful of Hellbats, but honestly not too many. Immediately, the Liberators are going to get piled down by those Ravagers, and are there enough Thors to really contend with this?
Yeah, Bix around here, and we can see these swords are chunking down these Broodlords, but there's just too much here for the for the ZergLord.
Oh my god.
It's gonna call the Broodlord.
The repairs, the SCVs are keeping the Thors alive, and they break through.
Oh,
they kill every
goodness.
single Broodlord.
Those are busted, man. They're insane.
The real mech style. This is what Maru was talking about. When Maru said mech is the way to go in TVZ, it's really just mass Thor.
Yeah, he wasn't ready to reveal it yet, but QuanTa breaking out the trade secrets.
Oh my god.
And is he going to snipe this Greater Spire again from the top?
I kind of want him to.
No
Here we go.
way.
There's no anti-air, by the way. Go for it, puppy. No, he turns around instead. It goes for another Thor drop in the main base. Going to be a little bit annoying, but not enough to snipe a tech structure.
Yeah, a little bit annoying, and we did see that one Kerrigan Thor being left behind. Not enough medevacs for everyone to get away. Not enough boats.
Feels bad, man. Meanwhile, the ZergLord's going for a massive counter attack. Oh, hard switching into swarm hosts.
Yeah, really interesting here, but I like it a lot. Like, against these Thors, these are very big, expensive units that struggle against a lot of small units, and the swarm host will be able to DPS down these Thors and get a lot of value that way, but not the best value there on those roaches.
Oh, speaking of roaches, that one Thor killed the roach warren.
Oh my goodness.
Mate,
It almost took out +3 as well.
He did. He probably could have if he focused that instead of the roach warren. But oh my god, what I'm curious about, because we do see the mass swarm host, is that what happens if the swarm hosts show up and then the medevacs just pick up the Thors. Unfortunately, there are no medevacs here, but you know, like
even more than that, if the medevacs pick up the Thors and drop them on the Swarm host, but instead they're over here just destroying everything.
Oh my god, here we go. The first Locust Wave is coming across the map. Finally, the ZergLord has revealed his hand, and it looks like he's going to be able to take control of the high ground. It looks like he's going to be able to take out all these workers, but at the same time, he just lost a base, and he may lose another.
Yeah, he did a really good job zoning out with those Swarm hosts, but I'm not sure if he has an answer on the right here for all these Thors, and this game is getting away from him now.
Yeah, exactly. The comeback is real. QuanTa is up in supply. He just took down 2 hatcheries, and he's like, he wants the natural. He wants to keep going. The quadruple Thor drop
there's
is
no
crazy.
answer for the quadruple Thor.
It's crazy. Links are coming in. Okay, we have a couple of Corruptors. Corruptors are going to be able to help shut down these medevacs, but at the same time, here come the rest of the Thors.
Yeah, this is absolutely insane, and you're slowly seeing him picked apart just as he needs the same answers on both sides, and he is going to lose these Thors, but at the cost of the base on the left side.
Yeah, the base will go down. At the same time, Locust Wave is going to come in, and that will definitely help out, but oh my god. The Thors just eliminate the Locust Wave, and QuanTa keeps pushing in. The ZergLord, he's down to 3 hatcheries. Oh my god, this one's just about to die anyway.
Yeah, I'm completely in awe. I think he's actually doing it, and like with these Thors as well, if he can bring a few SCVs over, this army goes straight back up to full value.
Yeah.
And I just don't think there's any answer left for the ZergLord.
There's nothing. He's waiting for another Locust Wave. He's got a handful of Roach Ravager as well. Greater Spire is going to go down. That is the only Spire. The ZergLord's saving grace since he does have a base towards the top right. It has gone unscattered, so he at least has some mining, but mate, Mass Thor, it's crazy. It's Imba.
You're right, mate. Mech is unbeatable. Oh, and the win for QuanTa. What a fascinating game.
Oh my god. This guy's been playing too much with Hon Mono, mate. What's happening?
Oh my goodness.
Hon Mono with a mass BC against Protoss, and now QuanTa with a mass Thor against Zerg, and actually making it work. He was able to take down Broodlords, Swarm Host, Roach Raptor. What is left? What's the answer? Obviously, probably Spellcasters, but
yeah, I think ZergLord, obviously the first time you play against something so wild, it's going to take you a little while to get over the shock and come up with the right answer. And I feel like the Swarm Host answer that he came to at the end maybe would have been the right answer from the start. But yeah, I'm not sure if he was prepared for that to be so effective.
Mate, no one's prepared for the quadruple Thor drop, mate. The quad drop. My god.
You know, I wonder if he was playing the campaign before he came tonight and he saw the Odin, you know, the giant Thor that's like, maybe he thought he could make like a transformer if he got like 5 of the Thors and combine them all into an Odin.
Oh my god. I mean, that's basically what we saw. He was unstoppable, mate. He was, it was crazy. We even saw like Corruptors were trying to chase him down, and he was just dropping Thors back down to snipe the Corruptors, to snipe the Mutas. Like the Medax were untouchable. The only thing that could have like really rounded this out is if we saw like mass mules to just repair everything.
Oh, that's toxic, mate. You can't trust the mules. Toxic.
Oh my god. What a guy.
Yeah.
What a god.
And the very interesting thing as well is, I think Berlingrad, if I'm not mistaken, I think that was actually the ZergLord's map here. It's quite weird to see all these small maps in a best of 3. You know, usually at least 2 of the larger maps will be put through by the Zerg, but maybe is there something you know about his play that would make him prefer these smaller maps?
He is notably the more aggressive Zerg player in the region of Latin America, like amongst Cham, amongst even your Jim Rising or your Ryu. The ZergLord is usually the aggressor, but in the face of mass Thors, mate, what can you do?
No can defend.
Go for it, mate. Go for it.
All right, so starting up in the top left, breaking out the wild strategies with the quad Thor drop. I'm really looking forward to seeing what he has next in store. It's Team NV's QuanTa.
And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of Curious Minds LE, we have the Brazilian Zerg player himself representing Team Super. It is the TheZergLord.
But tell me, like, if you're the TheZergLord now, what's going through your head?
End it, mate. Take that how you will. Oh my god. Yeah, I would not want to experience that again. I think we can both say that, especially in the earlier game, like the TheZergLord was looking really good. Like he just shut down the. Remember, it all started with a Hellbat push and a BC opener. And it did nothing. It did absolutely nothing. The TheZergLord was in full control there. It was just blindly going into mutas. He was hard countered in a way.
Yeah.
So, yeah, maybe like a roach timing would do well for him.
I don't know. I mean, it felt like he got into the position he wanted. He was in a 90 drone position.
Yeah.
He kept QuanTa down on bases, but you know what they say sometimes? You just can't let them get there, and maybe the Thor is one of those units.
Yeah, exactly. You know, it's one of those things. How do you? It's like when you say, like, how do you deal with, like, you know, the perfect Protoss death ball, and a lot of people are like, don't let him get there. You know, just don't let him get to mass Thor. You know, just don't let it happen.
Is this the perfect Terran death ball? The golden armada of Terran?
Oh my god. My eyes are on QuanTa. I want to see if he has anything else in store for us. Like, that's the thing about a lot of these players, is they're pretty stylistic. You know, they have their own way of playing. You know, I brought up Hon Mono earlier, but like another one is like 3-point. You know, like they're showing us, mate, you can be at the top of the Korean ladder, like 6K in Korea, and you can go mass Thor and you can win. Like, it's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like we get this expectation from watching the Serals, from watching the Reynos and the Lambos, that there's only one way to play the game. But these guys are really showing that even at such a high level, you can still be creative and have a bit of fun with it.
Exactly. You don't just have to play meta. Maybe QuanTa is the reason why Maru left Team NV. I don't know.
Too cracked. You couldn't beat him in customs.
Exactly, man. Exactly. Oh god. But we'll see. Maybe we're getting a bit ahead of ourselves, as we do see another 3cc opener from QuanTa. No fast 1-1-1 here. Again, we may not see mech, but we may see something else.
Yeah, so I do like the choice of a 3cc here. It's just especially on this map, some of the timings that come later on from Zerg, it is nice to power up a little bit at first, just to be ready for those.
Oh boy. Yeah. I mean, because of that QuanTa, he will have a decent economy as well to help defend and also get into a really good position after the defense happens. I'm curious to see if we're going to see a bit of a building swap here. We are. So once again, it looks like we are going to be seeing a Banshee opener very similar to game 1 of this series.
Yeah, so 3cc Banshee, quite a common build on this map, just to get a bit of map control, see what's going on, and kind of comfortably get into a later game. So especially with just 6 bases on each side, I would expect that we'd see the Terran being quite happy to get into a split map situation.
Yeah, I'm sure he's going to be able to pull off like that kind of multi-prong, like mass drop style a little bit better as well. I was praising his drops earlier that were happening in game 1, and I guess those skills also transferred over to the Thors as well. Like, it's like, like, hey, if you're good at dropping, why not just go mass Thor drop? Yeah, crazy.
No, you don't have to put Marines in there. You can put a whole Thor in there, buddy.
Oh my god. But for the time being, no Thor's. Cloak is on the way as well. I'm sure we're gonna wait until we have a couple more of these Banshees before we move out. I'm a little bit sad that we were probably not going to see mech here, but at the same time, I'm also excited to see how he's adapted after game 1, after a loss.
I'm not sure, Light. That's a pretty fast double gas, and we haven't seen eBay's yet. There we go. Let's go.
I was fooled. I mean, I was looking at the tech lab on the racks. I'm like, he's gonna start stim, right? He's gonna. Apparently not.
Like the Anakin meme. You'll start stim, right? You'll start stim, right? It's always mech, man.
Oh my god. It's always mech, mate. You've tuned into my streams. Every time.
Even when it's not mech, it's still mech.
It's still mech. Oh god. So again, I'm gonna keep. I'm curious to see if we're gonna see something similar or a different kind of mech composition, right? A much more standard, you know, tank, like a tank, or maybe even some battle mech, Hellion Cyclone. As I look and I see a reactor on that starboard, we'll see. We'll see.
I wouldn't be surprised to see maybe a slow mech style with Liberators, especially with the start of this game. Getting your armories before your second and third factory, it's a little bit unusual. It's a little bit greedy, you could say. But I'm wondering if maybe he was expecting that after the last game, that the TheZergLord is maybe going to be a little bit more cautious.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if that was the case. For the time being, he's kind of keeping the ZergLord's attention here across the map with all of these banshees. Meanwhile, we have our answer. The first Thor is on the way. It's
Hey, do you see it? Do you see it? It's so beautiful.
Oh god, here we go. Medivacs are on the way. Thor's on the way. The drop is coming.
It's happening again, puppy.
Oh god. But things are a little bit different here because the ZergLord, instead of going for mutas, he went straight into a pretty quick Hydra.
Yeah, actually, come to think of it now, I hadn't really thought of it before in that last game, but Mass Hydra is a really elegant solution for this. It stops the drops from being able to just go wherever they want, and the Mass Hydras are actually quite good against the Thors. Just having a high DPS unit with lots of area, I suppose, if you can get a big concave, really good against the Thors.
Yeah, 100%, mate. Hydras, they shoot up and they shoot down. They're cracked, mate. They're like Marines, mate, but they don't even need stim. So yeah, I 100% agree. They're a great way to shut this down. I wonder how QuanTa's going to react to them, because it's something we talk about a lot when it comes to stylistic players, is that they are very well practiced with their own styles. So I'm sure they've encountered Hydras as a response before, and he should have his own response ready for this.
Yeah, especially for him to go for this strategy again in 2 games, I would expect that it's something that he plays a lot. So, and this is a beautiful trap here by the ZergLord, getting a whole bunch of aliens almost for free.
Oh yeah, Hellions all get cleaned up. The Banshees are going to town, and maybe they're going to force a cancel here, as we don't really have too many Hydras at the moment. Quickly looking at the units, I'm a little bit surprised. We actually see 0 Hydras right now, despite all these upgrades. So the ZergLord maybe being a little bit greedy, just waiting for the moment to really whip out all those Hydras. But because of that, this first drop of Thors are going to hit they're going to impact the game quite a bit.
Mate, you've already got ready for this new meta. It's as if you're talking about this timing as if it's the most normal thing in the world. You're just like, and the Thors are coming in for the drop around just on time at 8.
Oh my god, mate, they killed 3 queens and the 5th base in an instant, mate.
Wait, are these Thors or are they disruptors? Those queens exploded.
They also tanked all the banelings as well. It was crazy. Speaking of, the banelings do come in. Oh my god, 2 of the Hellbats do barely get saved.
Yeah, beautiful save on the Hellbats there, and this is suddenly looking extremely dangerous with this insane DPS of the Thors and Banshees.
Is he just going to get the base? Well, we'll see. I mean, the Baneling's going to try and collapse on this army before that happens. The ZergLord is going to have to pull the trigger quite soon. That hatchery's getting pretty low.
And he just picks up, and he's out of there.
Where are the Hydras, puppy? What happened? What happened to the plan? He even got both Hydra upgrades. He has speed and range.
Yeah, we're seeing him go back into that same Ravager Spire composition that he had in the last game. So maybe something that he saw in the last game where he does think that he has the answer still and that he doesn't need to change his plan so much. So this is something that you do see a lot with the top players. Usually they trust in their own plans, and they trust that what they usually go for will just need a few little tweaks to get it to work.
Yeah, well, we'll see if he has a point there, or if he's just huffing that copium. I don't know. We'll see, puppy. We'll see. It's also, my headcanon is that he just assumed that the Hydroden died to all those Thors. Like, they killed so much, why not kill the Hydroden as well? I don't know. So we'll see as the Thor drops are getting moved out again. This time, QuanTa has been actually left alone quite a bit here. Like, he's been expanding, 4th base already fully saturated. Like, he's in a really good economic position compared to the previous game.
Yeah, possibly just a result of the opening that he had going quite unpunished with the ZergLord playing quite passive, but he comes in right through the center here now, trying to look for a timing with these Ravagers and Banes.
Yeah, exactly. He does catch a lot of these tanks on siege. The Biles are going to catch the rest of them, and just like that, he dominates the ground here. The Ravager army is going to keep on going, but at the same time, the mass Thor drop into the main base with the Banshees.
Yeah, he absolutely smashed through that, but he doesn't care, mate. He's got Thors, he's got Banshees. He's going to absolutely shred the tech of ZergLord.
Mate, the multi-pronged Thor drop. He's got one towards the north, one towards the south as well. Meanwhile, all QuanTa has to do is hold on here. He does have a tank on the high ground. A couple of Hellbats are being morphed in as well. The ZergLord has to get into that main base. He has to deal crippling damage because he's losing everything at home.
Yeah, it's just getting all these tanks out, and I think he's got enough tanks out already, and we can really see it as well, the advantage of this lead that he had on bases. There is so much economy still mining, even after all that damage that the ZergLord gave.
Yeah, exactly. So it's still kind of hard to call. Meanwhile, the fourth base gets taken out, so QuanTa knocked down to 2 bases. But as you were pointing out, he does have a quite large mech army here at the natural base, and the main gets taken out. The macro hatch as well. Base towards the north barely gets saved, but mate, it's kind of 2 base versus 2 base at the moment.
Yeah, the main got absolutely wiped. Every tech building in the main has gone down except for that Evo, and we are seeing Hydras being made finally now by the ZergLord. So yeah, maybe a bit of stubbornness before not to make them.
Yeah, it may just be a little bit too late, mate, because QuanTa, he saved his 3rd base. He can float over his main base if he deems it necessary. Meanwhile, that Evo chamber does get sniped, so literally nothing in the main. And I have to give the edge here to QuanTa, mate. Like, he's still got a pretty terrifying army, and I don't know, Hydra Viper is Roach Ravager Hydra, is this really gonna work out?
Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, the supply is quite close, but the supply is such a higher quality for QuanTa, and we're really seeing a bit of a ragtag combination of units here for the ZergLord. I'm not sure how this is going to go for him, but he's decided the time to attack is now.
Yeah, he's going to go in. He's going to be able to snipe one of these tanks at least, but there's still so many Thors, so many more tanks, even a Banshee. The Banshees is still alive from earlier in the game, and there's just not enough Zerg.
Yeah, this is a beautiful, I find it weird to say, but concave of Thors that he's got. And yeah, he just completely wipes out the left side.
Oh my god, there's nothing left. He's gonna keep on going. He wants more, mate. He wants every single one of these hatcheries they learned from earlier. Oh, the snipe! Oh my god, that was so close.
That was so close, but he's just... Mate, I'm a believer. This 4th Thor drop.
Oh my
This is it, mate. I think this is it.
This is the future of Terran, mate. Let's go.
Man, I was there. I was there.
Everyone in the chat, I was there when the Thor drop meta came into play. GG gets gold.
Let's go. So after that first game, QuanTa's just like, stuff it, mate. We're going mass Thor, and he does it, the madman.
I see Jade off in the chat. We were playing the game wrong all along.
You know it, you know it. That's alright, we'll be the first ones on ladder to bring this to NA.
Oh no. I don't know what to say, especially it's so jarring, especially after game 1. Game 1 was like the most stock standard ZVP you could imagine. It was just bio tank against Ling Bane Hydra into lurkers, right? We've seen it all before. We saw it again. And game 2 and game 3, like QuanTa, he like revealed his trap card, you know?
Man, he was just waiting for me to arrive.
He was, mate. He was. He wanted to show you the way, mate. And oh my!
It's like we have to bring up the young ones. we have to teach them the way. He just threw the first game to show the old way and why it doesn't work. And in with the Thors, mate.
It's all about the narrative, mate. It's all about the narrative, and just like that, QuanTa, he takes the series, and now he moves on to the winners match of Group D.
Yeah, so I'm just blown away. I'm kind of lost for words, to be honest. I was not really expecting him to just do it again in the next game, and not only to do it again, but even more convincingly, really.
Yeah. Oh my god. And this is the real reason why I wanted to bring you in, Asher. You know, like this. There's some crazy stuff Terran there's a lot of people out there that are like, oh my god, Zergs, they can do whatever they want. They have people like me or Micah, they have people like Bly, you know, that they don't make any sense. And then you have QuanTa coming in with the best Lord. He makes it work. There's just something about him. He's just built different, you know.
Mate, I have to apologize because you told me mech was broken and I told you you were wrong. I did not know how right you were. I'd just never seen the real mech before.
I didn't know what
beautiful.
I didn't know what mech was until I saw QuanTa, mate.
Oh my goodness.
Wow. As we gather ourselves, I want to give a massive shout out to some people in the chat. Rude Sloth gave us a raid earlier in the broadcast. Thank you so much for the raid, Rude Sloth. And thank you so much for the resub, Steel Mold, as well. 41 months in a row. 41 months. That's a lot of months. I apologize for not giving you guys attention during the games. I hope you understand, because they were some they were some games, mate.
Yeah, that's awesome. 41 months. That's like, I'm gonna do math on stream. Give me a sec.
How many kids is that?
How many kids? Mate, I was so close to working out how many years it was. And now you're asking me how many kids? Oh my goodness.
Oh god. But thank you so much, everyone. Thank you so much. As we are going to be getting ready for our next series, you can see it here on the screen. We are going to be getting ready for our second series of Group D, and that is a bit of a change of pace, a bit of a PvP instead.
Yeah, so something a little bit different, and once again we're seeing two different servers clashing, and I'm expecting very different styles out of the two different players. We know that Goblin's quite a stylistic player, really, especially in PvP, where you can kind of make things a little bit different, like the Mass Phoenix work.
Yeah, exactly. Like it's one of those things. I mean, especially because he's on team Roddy's. You know, he's on Roddy's team. I'm sure he wants to go into those Mass Phoenixes. I don't know how crazy this PvP can get, just because like PvPs are quite dynamic. I think is a nice way to put it. But at the same time, I feel like I don't know if there's too much of a difference between the different regions in PvP. Like it's like, you know, I don't know if there's anything special that maybe LunaSea can bring to the table that maybe Goblin has never seen before.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose, especially at the start of the game, the PvP meta is, I don't want to say figured out, but there's only so many things that you can do and still be safe.
Oh boy. Well, we'll see. We'll see how this PvP turns out. Are we going to be shocked and in awe once again? I'm sure we will. As we have our second series of the night. As a reminder, the winner of this series will move on to face QuanTa. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of 2,000 atmospheres LE, we have our South Korean Protoss player. He is teal, representing Team Super. It is LunaSea.
And spawning up in the top right-hand corner, representing Team Roddy, it is Goblin.
Oh boy, Goblin, of course, being, if I am not mistaken, let me just double check here. Yes, Goblin being the Who is Amateur King #2 champion.
So he's the defending champion, looking to be the two-time, is that right?
Yeah, it's a bit of a fun fact. Unfortunately, we weren't able to cast it. I believe actually Rotterdam casted it, which makes sense over on his channel. Last season for Who is Amateur King, it was actually Vindicta and Goblin in the grand finals. So yeah, Goblin has to still work his way through the group stage once again. But I think we can both confidently say that he is coming in here as the favorite of the group.
Yeah, Goblin's really strong player and quite a stylistic player as well. I know a lot of Terran players find him quite awkward and scary to play against, just because he does have his own way of approaching the game, and he is very good at it. And like the same way that we've seen some of these other players have success with their own strategies. I am expecting that sort of thing out of Goblin, especially in the non-mirror matchups.
Oh yeah, yeah, and I'm sure we're gonna get there at some point. But my eyes right now are on LunaSea because he did throw a second probe out here on the map. One is in the main base, a second is here at the 12 o'clock position, just kind of chilling and waiting, and I imagine ready to throw down a pylon. There we go, pylon does indeed get thrown down. So LunaSea looking to be a little bit more of an aggressor here.
Yeah, I wonder if we're going to see something like a 3-gate out of LunaSea here. But starting with Stalker Adept, which is not really one of the combos I have on my Chasers bingo card of first 2 Protoss units.
Fun fact, Chase and I, we actually casted LunaSea in Sparkling Tuna Cup maybe a couple of weeks ago, and the same thing happened, and he was also like he's like, I don't know what this means. What do I do?
It's going off script, mate. What do I do?
This doesn't happen. No one else does this. And I 100% agree, right? It's a weird middle of the road opener here. One Adept is going to be active to scout a little bit, to threaten the mineral line, but because there's only one Adept, like even if he gets in, he can't one-shot workers anyway. Like it's like it's kind of awkward.
Yeah, we're seeing very safe standard opener from Goblin here, going for the 3 sentry open, kind of a staple of PvP. So with that 3 sentry, you do have enough energy gain over time to constantly send out these hallucinations one after another.
Oh, mate, the
Oh no!
He had such a big brain, but the hallucination does end up coming, and he confirms, hold on, something's wrong here. We have a lack of tech in the main base. We have a full wall up as well. Something is wrong.
Yeah, LunaSea with the triple Omega 5-head move, putting the Stalkers exactly where the hallucination was coming. Maybe he even has watched some of Goblin's replays and knows where he likes to send that first hallucination, because that was spot on. But yeah, really good heads up for Goblin here that something's on the way, and looks like it's a double proxy robo. No, 1 proxy robo, and Goblin's got the robo.
Oh, yes, indeed. We do have that 1 Immortal out and running. Meanwhile, Goblin, because he's scattered, he does have a shield battery in the main base, has a shield battery at the natural as well. He's preparing. He's just getting everything ready for an assault. He doesn't really know what's coming his way. He hasn't seen the Immortal yet, but as soon as it's revealed, I'm sure he will know 100%. And as you were pointing out, he has his own Immortal to defend.
Yeah, so this Immortal Sentry with a Warp Prism coming, this combo, I have seen something like this before in PvT. I think it's possible he might be looking to elevator up into the main and use a force field to block Goblin out of his own main, but...
yeah, he does get into the main base. Looks like he's trying to focus on the Artosis pylon, and it looks like he will barely get it. He needs a couple more shots. Oh no! He doesn't get it!
Oh. Yeah, great defense from Goblin there, and he does buy himself a lot of time with that objective being denied.
Yeah, exactly. That was actually pretty clutch. Goblin was keeping that pylon alive with that shield battery. It did end up using all of that energy, but again, it was well worth it. LunaSea, he's still not done yet though. He does have a second Immortal about to pop out, so he will still maintain that Immortal lead.
Yeah, even going for a 3rd Immortal here and really like going hard on the aggression, so he's completely all in here. And yeah, just it's on Goblin here to do whatever he can to keep LunaSea out, but we see him move up into the main now.
Oh yeah, exactly. Meanwhile, I love it. We had a wall up as well to deny that Adept. Meanwhile, he rotates all the way. He elevates all the way into the main base overcharge, but the shield battery gets taken down.
Yeah, he does focus completely on that shield battery, but I think that buys enough time for Goblin to get his units up the ramp. I'm sure LunaSea would have loved to block off that ramp and stop the reinforcements from coming in. But this is looking really good for Goblin.
Yeah, exactly. We even have a shield battery helping out in that mineral line as well, keeping all these Immortals alive. LunaSea barely has anything left, only a single Immortal. Second Immortal comes out, which is great, and we have another Immortal on the way, just nothing but Immortals. But he lost so much momentum. That first push was his strongest, and Goblin defended.
Yeah, I really not sure if I see a way forward for LunaSea in this game now. He was so all in with that push, and Goblin just beautiful defense there.
I really did love how it all kind of came together. LunaSea forced Goblin to wall off himself because of a bunch of adepts, and he was going to try and take advantage of that. He does even get into the main base with these adepts, and he's going to get some worker kills. But look at the worker lead Goblin has. Like, he can afford to lose probes.
Yeah, this 2-base to 1-base advantage in a mirror is absolutely huge. And yeah, we're just seeing that even now, as this economy kicks in from the double base of Goblin, these units are getting out of control, and before long he's going to have even more army supply than the all-ending player.
Yeah, exactly. What I will say is that this Twilight Council is relatively late, so it's going to take a while to get Blink up and running, but the Immortal count's going to be insane. Again, the economy is going to be insane. As soon he's going to be able to break out and take a third base, which I think is kind of what he wants to do. LunaSea has to do something crazy here, and we see, oh my god, he went for a robotic spade.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure what else he can do to get back in this game. He needs a huge disruptor hit if he wants to get anything done. But at the same time, across the map, we're seeing Goblin with a double Immortal drop, just cleaning up the last probes. And yeah, really just forcing LunaSea completely all in. And
yeah. I mean, LunaSea tries to do the same thing. He does get behind the mirror line with his own Immortals, but there are Stalkers in the event now. War Prism almost
so
goes
close.
down.
Yeah, and LunaSea actually, maybe a bit of a gamble there, recalled only 2 adepts, and Goblin, just assuming that he recalled more than that, has left with the War Prism.
Yeah, he just abandoned that base, so now LunaSea, I mean, he still has, his worker count is still abysmal. He's got 14 probes, but there's potential here. He does have 1 disruptor, soon to be 2 disruptors, and without Blink, like, it's not going to be that difficult to get a good Nova off.
Yeah, so I'm not sure if Goblin has seen this disruptor yet. And here it is. 2 Stalkers, not too bad, but probably not enough.
Yeah, 2 Stalkers is okay, but we need a little bit more than that. We only have nothing but Robo units here remaining here for LunaSea. Meanwhile, Goblin gets back into that main base with the double Immortal drop. He didn't even have all of his army at home to defend, and he still defends beautifully.
Yeah, the double crabs in the main, just kind of walking around, seeing what they can see, getting stuck here and there. But yeah, I think this is over.
Yeah.
I gotta be honest.
Oh god. I mean, we'll see. We have 2 Novas remaining, but the pre-splits are pretty good anyway. First Nova goes up on an Immortal, and it's just not going to be enough.
Yeah, and we do see the GG out there. Lovely defense from Goblin. Not sure if he knew what was going on there, but manages to use his micro, use his spread in the main, and get the win.
GG, well played. Congratulations to Goblin. He does take a nice lead in this series. But at the same time, I don't know if he's really learned too much from his opponents. It was like a weird 1-base all in. Oh my god, like, I just imagine if LunaSea had denied that Haluk Scout, by the way. Like, oh god, like, it could have been a completely different game if Goblin was left in the dark at that stage and wasn't preparing with his own shield batteries. Again, like, props to LunaSea. Like, that was almost perfect with his denial.
Yeah, really well thought out strategy there, and we can see even with Goblin having some idea of what was going on, it was a pretty tight defense. So I can imagine that if he moved out at the wrong time, didn't have the batteries ready, or wasn't aware of a potential attack coming up into the main, that could have gone completely differently.
Oh yeah, 100%. Again, like, as a reminder, as soon as he got the hallucinated scout off in that main base, he threw down a shield battery in his main. That's the same shield battery that kept the pylon alive, the Artosis pylon that was powering everything. There's a world where that shield battery never existed. And that pylon goes down, suddenly we have half or so much less production available for Goblin. Suddenly things are so much more chaotic. Yeah, that almost worked out for LunaSea, but in the end, not quite. But he's gonna have another chance, this is a best of 3 series.
Yeah, so maybe just trying to get a bit of a cheeky win while also feeling out the kind of openings the Goblin's going to go for. I'll be really interested to see how LunaSea follows it up, possibly going for a bit more of a standard game coming out from that one.
I would hope so. It's hard to say because I do, from my experiences with LunaSea, He's quite crazy. He's quite a lunatic, and he is one of the more aggressive Protoss players. So maybe it doesn't have to be a one base all in. Maybe like a two base timing. Maybe like a proxy Twilight Council or a proxy Dark Shrine or something like that. Yeah, I would expect something still aggressive from LunaSea.
Yeah, definitely cool to see that he's willing to go for these slightly riskier strategies. So yeah, he might have something else crazy in store.
Oh god. Meanwhile, Goblin, I think he's just chilling. He's just who is this guy?
Maybe he was watching the previous games and got some ideas. Maybe he did have 4 immortals that last game, but he didn't have 4 warp prisons. So maybe that was the problem. He didn't have the quad immortal drop.
True.
Actually, you can fit 2 in each one, right?
Yeah.
You could have the 8 immortal drop.
Let's go.
We're evolving, man.
Along those lines, I know we're gonna get there eventually, but like I really want to see what QuanTa can do in a TVP. Like Thor drops again. Like I know you thermal's done Thor drops in TVP before, right? Like at a competitive level, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, not quite the same. I don't think you can do it like as a macro build, but as like a one base all in, you can definitely do Thor drops. So maybe we could see that.
Oh god.
I don't know if it's good, but I wouldn't have told you that the quad Thor drop was good either.
Oh god. QuanTa doesn't care about your perception of good, mate. He knows what is good, mate. Oh my god.
He is the meta. He is the good. It's all relative to that.
Oh my god. So we'll get there at some point. QuanTa, he's just waiting patiently for the winner of this series. Oh god. Meanwhile, it seems as if one of the players has requested for a small break. I don't blame them. It was quite intense. Maybe LunaSea just gonna go get some water, or Goblin even. So I do apologize for the break, but our players are just getting ready.
Yeah, maybe just preparing those next strategies.
Oh god. In the meantime, I guess this is a decent opportunity to just remind everyone that as well, this tournament, it isn't just run by Team GP, but it's also sponsored by Team Super as well. They're the LunaSea and the ZergLord are both a part of that team, and yeah, there's still like an enigma. I still, like, every now and then I still get people asking like, what the hell is Team like, what is this team? It's like they don't even have a Liquipedia page. It's crazy.
Yeah, honestly, I'm not sure, but every time I look on Liquipedia to see the team transfers, there's someone else joining the team.
Yeah. I think recently Eggs, a couple of days ago, Eggs joined the team as well. Dastan in the chat, I think he just joined the team as well a couple of days ago. Like they're just, eventually everyone is going to be a part of Team Super, mate. It's crazy.
They're taking over, man.
Oh god.
Yeah, so as well, they picked up Chance recently. That's really awesome to see Chance get picked up by a team as well. I know he was looking for a little while.
Yeah. Chance, he's very much so deserves to be on a pro team. He's been a great player, very active. He was even a part of this tournament as well. So it's really cool to see Team Super supporting not just like Latin America and Korea, but like as many regions as possible with all these up and coming players. So it's cool.
Yeah, keeping the game alive.
Oh, exactly. But we'll see if they can keep it up here, because despite the fact that this tournament is sponsored by Team Super, their players are struggling a little bit here. So it's not rigged or anything like that. There's no conflict of interest among us.
Man, it's just the rise and fall. It's the hero's tale. You have to have a little bit of the bad first, and then you have, I don't even know. They've got to go off and do their training montage. They've got to run up the stairs and.
There you go.
Yeah.
Oh god. Meanwhile, speaking of, it looks like our players have readied up. They have finished their break. They got their water. They stretched their roaches, hydrated their hydras, drained their disruptors. And now we are just diving straight into game number 2.
Let's go.
And it looks as if our map is going to be on Hardwire LE. Again, it seems like, unfortunately, I don't think we got to see the vetoes, but I imagine the larger maps are vetoed. I'm sure LunaSea, again, doesn't want the game to go on too long.
Yeah, I definitely imagine this would be Goblin's map pick, a bit more of a, definitely a much bigger map, actually.
True. Well, here we go, spawning in the top right-hand corner of Hardwire LE. We have the Croatian Protoss player representing Team Roddy. It is Goblin.
And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, representing Team Super, coming from Korea, it is the blue Protoss, LunaSea.
Boy. Okay, so AsherBro, as the Protoss expert on the casting couch.
Sure. This is just like the copium that I beat you once with my Protoss. So you're like, mate, he must be a genius with Protoss. He's an expert.
Asher Protoss greater than Asher Parent copium.
No.
Oh god. What would you like to see? I was gonna ask, what would you like to see from our Protoss players here, from LunaSea specifically? What would you like to see from him?
Yes, I was going to say, especially from Goblin, I would just like to see him do the same thing. But from LunaSea, maybe something like a proxy Stargate would be a bit better on this map. So if he could sneak in some oracles, maybe bank up a few of them and then sneak them in all at once or something like that, or like a adept oracle strategy, something like that. And it does look like he is hiding a pylon at the side of the map.
Yeah, immediately he does sneak out that probe, throws down a pylon on the left-hand side. This does seem to be a pseudo-proxy just to keep Goblin a little bit busy. Goblin, I'm sure he checks. Hold on, there should be another pylon here in the main base, so it's going to put him on edge a little bit, kind of similar to a Terran player making their racks in their natural, you know, just to keep their opponent guessing. So LunaSea not committing too hard here.
Yeah, maybe just a little bit of a mind game. So like, it is going to be on Goblin's mind that there could be another proxy kind of similar to the last one, and that was such a committed build with the proxy of the last game that I'm sure he'll be wanting to find out what's going on straight away, and that does funnel him kind of into this Sentry Stalker build if he wasn't already.
Oh yeah, a very safe opener, just like the previous game. Meanwhile, LunaSea a little bit more decisive with his own, does make 2 adepts, does have 2 more on the way, so much more of an aggressive opener. But Goblin does have a probe kind of chilling here, and he should be able to have eyes on these adepts as they move out.
Yeah, so the adept is coming out and clearing the probe, and seeing 2 adepts doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be one of these mass adept builds, but I wonder if we are going to see something like an 8 adept coming out from LunaSea, as he has shown himself to be a lot more on the aggressive side, and there's 2 more already.
Yeah, let's go. 6 adepts for the time being moving out across the map here. That does mean that it can be a little bit risky walling off with a pylon or a shield battery, because if you have enough adepts, mate, they don't even care. They just blast their way through anyway.
Yeah, so if Goblin does know what's going on here, I'm sure we'll see a Gateway or Cyber Core coming up there just to really put a lot of HP on that wall, but we are seeing the next step in LunaSea's plan as well.
Yeah, honestly, a little bit crazy. Proxy Twilight Council. You could argue a tech structure that doesn't need to be proxied, but because it's out here, are you feeling DTs?
Yeah, I'm feeling DTs. 100%, man. 100%. And yeah, I mean, I would expect Goblin to be looking to get a robo pretty soon just to be safe in general, but yeah, I'm not entirely sure here. He is playing it super safe here.
Yeah, a lot of sentries here in the main base. Meanwhile, 8 adepts waiting outside the main base of Goblin, looking to shade in, looking to plow their way through. We have a shield battery, but again, that shield battery is not going to be enough. Oh, he goes for it.
Yeah, I'm going to expect him to just finish the shade here and just power through, and the rewall. Great job there by Goblin.
Oh, exactly. He's able to throw down that Cybercore, throw down the Pylon as well. In the end, the Adepts are forced to fight and engage with these Stalkers, but again, that's not really what they want to do. So far, Goblin, he defends.
Yeah, but honestly, I am a bit worried. He's doing such a good job keeping him busy here, and I wonder if DTs is just going to be the last thing in the mind of Goblin here.
Yeah, mate, there's no detection. There's no Forge, there's no Stargate. Finally, we have a Robo on the way, but the Dark Shrine is already in production here for LunaSea.
Yeah, and we're seeing an Immortal question mark?
I thought, yeah, I thought this was meant to be a War Prism.
Yeah, me too. I mean, I think we're seeing the NA Zerg strategies out of QuanTa. Never let them know your next move, mate. And as I'm saying resonating glaives.
Oh my, and it gets scattered!
Oh, that is a crazy scout for Goblin. Scouts the DT Shrine, but also scouts the researching, on the Twilight Council. And do you reckon he knows, like, what this might be?
No shot, mate. No shot. Goblin, so for all he knows, it's okay, DTs and then like a blink follow-up. That's like the sane thing to do. But this man is not sane, mate. The DTs have already revealed themselves, but the first observer is on the way out. So these DTs honestly aren't really going to deal too much damage. They're going to eventually be cleaned up. Oh, but LunaSea, he finds a way into the main base with the Adepts.
Yeah, these Adepts, they don't finish the shade, but yeah, I wonder if Goblin has any clue what's coming up here, because I would actually think with researching on the Twilight Council that maybe it would be some kind of charge DT build, just trying to like smash down the front door. But with these Immortals as well and 6 gates from LunaSea, he's totally going all in on this.
Yeah, 100%, mate. He's just going to make a mass amount of Adepts. And with enough Adepts, like, Stalkers, they're not the best against them. Like there's kind of a weird dynamic between them. We used to see, like, Mass Adept against, like, Immortal-based build, compositions as well, and it would kind of work out. Because the Immortals are awful, absolutely awful against Adepts. And because of the backbone of these Immortals, like, LunaSea, he can just kind of surround the army, and the Immortals can just go to town on the Stalkers.
Yeah, I'm actually really liking this for him, especially with the increased attack speed from the glaives. Oh, but this is great move out by Goblin, just catching this out in the middle of the map, really going to buy him some time here, and does give him some clue of what's going on.
Yeah, he saw sentries, he saw Immortals, he saw Adepts as well. I don't think he got a full eye on all these Adepts, but there we go, we have a recall back home. Like, he feels the danger that's coming his way. 3 shield batteries go down. Oh my god, just a massive amount of static defense here at the natural base. All Goblin has to do is defend, and he's preparing himself for it. Is it going to be enough though?
Yeah, I'm loving the positioning on those shield batteries as well, putting them right at the back of the base so the Adepts can't just shade away from where the batteries are protecting.
Oh, exactly. Meanwhile, here we go. Glaives is done. The mass shade is on the way. He's going to look and try and dive on top of the army. He does back off into all those
amazing
force
fields.
The Immortals, they're just not taking part in the fight at all.
Yeah, these force fields by Goblin, absolutely beautiful. He made them so quickly and completely blocks out the Immortals, giving him the time to come back to the shield batteries and fight the Adepts on their own. And this is just a stunning defense so far by Goblin, but will it be enough?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, let's be real. LunaSea, he's not done. Not yet. He still has 3 Immortals in the backline. He's trying to get a little bit more damage done. He does deal with a couple of pylons here and there, but can he really contend with his army? There's still so many shield batteries behind this.
Yeah, Goblin has just managed to have his Stalkers picking away at these Adepts almost the entire time. But the base is going super low and he takes out the base.
Oh.
Huge for LunaSea there.
Oh my god, the base falls. That means there's no overcharge, by the way. We see a blink on forward. Goblin, he's going to focus on every single one of these Immortals, but he's losing a lot of Stalkers in the process.
Yeah, I can't believe this, but I think these Adepts are actually on their own going to take out the Stalkers. And with the base gone and with these probes trapped in the corner, this is going to be a massacre.
Mate, what is this, ZVP? Like, the Glaive Adepts are coming in. They're going to force their way into the main base. Again, like, Stalkers and Immortals don't do a lot of damage to Adepts. Same can be said, like, the reverse way as well, but there are just so many of them.
Yeah, and he focuses down the Cybercore, and the Cybercore is gone. So these are the last last Stalkers that he'll have, he can only walk in Zealots from now on.
Oh my god, he takes down the final Immortal, overcharges, not enough, he gets out DPS by the massive amount of Glaive Nest. We see a recall back home because we see a counterattack, and again, Adepts are all you need, mate, and with the death of the Cybercore, there's no more Stalkers.
Yeah, and there's only 4 Stalkers left in the main. The Probes are not going to have a good time against these Adepts, and this little counterattack is his last chance, but it's just not enough, is it?
Yeah, exactly. Eventually we get cleaned up. GG gets caught. LunaSea ties up the series.
Wow, just when we thought that first game was wild, LunaSea was like, hold my beer, mate, you ain't seen nothing yet. And goes for the DT, Immortal, Sentry, Glaive Adepts all in.
Mm-hmm.
And just shreds the Stalkers.
It's crazy, man. Again, I'm pretty sure Goblin had no idea that was coming. And even when he saw all those Adepts, like, I'm sure he thought he was fine, right? Like, he had a pretty good position. The fight started with all those force fields as well. Like, it felt like Goblin was doing everything right. I was just shocked that even though the Immortals weren't able to fight the army, they just evaporated that Nexus. It was kind of going on under the radar, and I think maybe even Goblin didn't realize like how low it was getting. Like, oh my god.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of the micro, he did such a beautiful job cutting off the different parts of the army from each other and making sure that the Stalkers were getting maximum damage. But yeah, I'm not sure if... I guess in PvP, normally, like, having a lot of Stalkers like that is a bit of a good catch-all army composition for anything that comes early.
Yeah.
But yeah, LunaSea really went all the way into an army that just hard counters those Stalkers.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, really well done there by LunaSea, and this is what I'm talking about, you know? Like, LunaSea comes at this with just a different approach to the game. Both games, he comes out with something crazy, something that, it works, mate. It just works. Oh my god, and here we go, spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have the favorite, we have the defending champion, and he is one game away from getting knocked down to that elimination match. Can he bring it back? Representing Team Roddy, the Croatian Protoss, it is Goblin.
And spawning down in the bottom right, he thought that proxy robo, that was a bit of a lukewarm strategy. He needed to put the kettle on, turn it up to 11, and bring out the real stuff. It is the South Korean playing for Team Super, LunaSea.
Crazy, mate. Oh my god.
Man, LunaSea, well named, I think. That was crazy.
Yeah. I think what's crazy about it as well is that it started with DTs that did nothing. Like, it wasn't even the most like efficient version of the build because we had to deal with some DT nonsense first that Goblin handled beautifully, by the way, with his scouting. But there were just layers to it, you know. LunaSea, he wasn't done, and once again he moves out across the map with 2 probes.
Yeah, it was just misdirection, and yeah, we're really seeing... I really love seeing this in tournament games, players that are able to build on the ideas of previous games. Mm-hmm. You see Mari doing it a lot with his proxy racks, where he'll have a proxy racks on the other side of the map, and then he'll have it close to his side of the map, and it's a really good way to mix up your builds by making them all look slightly the same at the start, but have different ideas behind each of them. Mm-hmm. And we are seeing a bit more of an aggressive proxy pylon, I think, this time again from LunaSea.
Exactly. What's important is that, again, this is the 3rd pylon, so everything is looking pretty normal here at home. Goblin hasn't really sussed too much out. But once again, and I think this is a bit of a tell, LunaSea is going for a bit of a mixed match of units, a Stalker and an Adept, so a bit of a middle of the road, and again, not really too concerned with scouting. I have to wonder, are we about to see a Stargate?
Yeah, with the positioning of this pylon, I think so, and there it is.
All right. Proxy Tempest?
I mean, I'm not going to say no to anything at this point. We are seeing...
Mate, Goblin, he's looking!
Yeah, he's kind of caught on to what's going on with all these proxies and realized that if he can find exactly what's going on and what the tech building is, he's going to have a much better chance. And yeah, he sees it straight away.
There we go. Goblin is in the know, and I believe he didn't go close enough to the pylon to reveal his hand, but there we go. The first couple of Stalkers are on the way. They rock up just as the Stargate finishes, so there is no cancel available here for LunaSea.
Yeah, really well done here, and I'm also liking the Goblin's gone for a little bit of a different opening this time. What he did in the first two games, you know, it was good in the first game, didn't quite work in the second game, but he's really kind of taking the initiative a little bit more in this game.
Yeah, he wants to be the aggressor. Oracle is on the way. It's about to finish up and zoom across the map to deal that damage. And I'm sure LunaSea is going to be caught a little bit off balance. You know, he's used to being the aggressor. He doesn't have a shield battery in the main base. Despite scouting the opener, this is a little bit sloppy. LunaSea has seen the Stargate, but he's not necessarily ready for it. But again, there we go. He does have his Stalkers. Shield battery is on the way.
Yeah, battery going down. Twilight Council just finishing up now, and we're seeing the Oracle go across the map. As instead of a second Oracle, a Void Ray is starting up for Goblin. Maybe just trying to stay a little bit safe at home as well.
Yeah. Void Rays, they're very decent defensively at home. First Oracle gets across the map and won't deal any damage, forces that revelation, and for the first time this series, LunaSea expands.
Yeah, and he's getting Blink. This looks like a standard build.
He's crazy. He's playing normally. He's not doing anything out of the... I mean, it did start with a proxy, don't get me wrong. But,
yeah, we can just don't worry about that. Don't worry about it, man.
Outside of that, like, he's looking really good. And again, he's going to have a bit of a faster timing because Goblin also opened up with the Stargate. So his own Blink is going to be delayed.
Yeah, so this Blink, very significant in the... Stalker matchup, but we are seeing already. If you can't proxy top right, proxy bottom left, man.
Yeah. I mean, I knew there was something wrong here. I knew that maybe he can't be playing standard. Something has to be wrong. Something has to be added here. And we do have a proxy 2 gateways towards the south, but at the same time, Goblin moves out across the map. He takes down the shield battery immediately with the Void Ray.
Yeah, just going for the age-old day 9 advice where if you don't know what they're doing, just go kill them.
Oh my god, he will back off. He will respect the defensive position of LunaSea, but again, a really nice little bit of damage. He didn't lose anything, just a little bit of shields, a little bit of hull damage on one of his Stalkers. Nothing too major, but he's still in the dark right now. He doesn't recognize that LunaSea is going 4 gate blink Stalkers.
Yeah, so it is really important for Goblin to get a follow-up scout here, because I'm sure he will notice that the probe count is quite low. LunaSea has stopped making probes on that natural now, and this Oracle is so close.
He's
he's got the map packs on, mate. He knows.
He knows. He sees the gateways. Mate, shield batteries are being thrown down immediately. He's like, oh my god, alarms are flaring. I need to defend here. But remember, last game, despite preparing, he still fell to LunaSea's aggression.
Yeah, and we're even seeing him throw down a cannon, throw down the stasis ward. He really knows the seriousness of the situation with the 4-gate Stalker coming towards him, but it does look like he might have what's necessary to be prepared.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, he's pretty prepared. Again, I'm sure he wants the beta blink forward as well with that stasis trap. Here we go. LunaSea does dive on forward. Decent blink micro here is going to trade decently well. Throws down some shield batteries. Some force fields, but with shield batteries and cannons, man, you can't break this.
Yeah, just recognizing that Goblin does have what he needs here, and good patience there not to go for it. Throwing down a 3rd as well, trying to find a different way to just contain him and find the lead in another way.
Yeah, I kind of love this from LunaSea. Again, we're seeing a lot of firsts here. First time taking a natural, first time taking a 3rd base, really respecting the position of Goblin, recognizing that he cannot break this, but now it's Goblin's turn to be the aggressor. Adepts are on the way, and they are getting into that mineral line.
Yeah, so they are going to find a little bit of damage before this recall finishes. I'm sure he'll just stay and get whatever he can here. At the same time, we're seeing a DT shrine going down for Goblin and +1 attack really close to finishing up, so maybe looking for a timing with Potentially the DTs and yeah, the +1 Stalkers.
This is scary because LunaSea, in getting that third base, doesn't have a robo. His Stargate is depowered. He does have a forge for cannons, but again, they're not the most reliable form of detection. DTs could just win Goblin the game.
Yeah, Goblin just taking out this production in the bottom left, just adding more chances of success for this push, and warping in some more adepts to the top right as well. He's really going to start to try to pick apart LunaSea.
Yeah, exactly. He's got his own third base on the way as well. Probes are falling left and right. Meanwhile, ooh, there was a little bit of lag there. Hopefully everything is okay.
Yeah, just a small spike there. I noticed it as well. We'll just give the players a bit of a chance to make sure that, especially with a big important fight coming up here, that everything's totally fine.
Yeah. Oh boy. I hope everything is okay as well. I may need to leave. We'll see if it clears up. Aye. Boy. Okay, here we go. As the adepts do get into that natural base, sorry, again, they're going to be able to get a couple of probe kills here. They will be cleaned up. But mate, DTs are coming in.
Yeah, so the probes, this is really amazing timing by Goblin, just as one is cleaned up there.
Oh my god. That's it.
Oh, and that's all it took. Amazing.
GG gets called. I mean, the ping pause was a bit of an issue, but honestly, it didn't impact the way this game turned out. We were talking about it. LunaSea had 0 detection.
Yeah, I mean, a bit of a checkmate there. Like, everything was looking like there was going to be a big attack at the front. He kind of had a bit of misdirection with the adept being cleaned up. Like, once that harass is cleaned up, that's usually a time that you would look away. And as he looked away, that's when the DTs just slipped in.
Yeah, feels bad, man. It's something that can happen in this matchup where if you don't have a robo, if you decide to be a little bit greedy and skip that robo in favor of that nexus instead, then you are vulnerable to DTs and they can straight up just end the game. Oof.
Yeah, we do just see LunaSea in the chat there saying DT lol. Kind of sums it up.
Feels bad, man. Feels bad. Oh god. But yeah, that does sum it up. Congratulations to Goblin. Hold on, I'll just play the fanfare. Congratulations, Goblin. He does move on to the winners match, and the winners match will be that TVP.
Yeah, not just any TVP, mate. It is our new Lord and Savior of mech, QuanTa.
Oh, let's go! QuanTa is going to be making his return, and I have to wonder how exactly he's going to approach this and what the hell he has in store for all of us.
Yeah, I'm fascinated for how this will go, because we did see from Goblin in that last PvP. PvP, as it is, tends to be quite a cerebral matchup, and especially in that last game, you could see each of the steps that he was going through, thinking ahead in his aggression as the game took shape. And especially against a player that has shown himself already to go for some slightly odd strategies, that kind of intelligence is going to be really useful.
Oh yeah. Oh god, I feel like again, my eyes are going to be on Goblin to really be able to adapt on the fly, right? As you were saying, you know, he kind of had to do that a little bit against LunaSea, and he's probably going to do that, have to do that here against QuanTa, whether it's adapting mid-game or again adapting mid-series to whatever the hell this Korean Terran has to offer, because I'd be shocked if he plays standard.
Yeah, 100%. But I really did like in that last game from Goblin that he knew when it was his turn to be the attacker, because there is this thing that like some of those kind of weirder, cheesier players can use their image to be very greedy and get away with cutting corners. But Goblin was all over at that time and knew exactly when he was the attacker role in that game.
Yeah, he can switch things. I mean, that's what makes him such a great player. That's probably why he's the reigning champion. You know, he has the ability to be a standard macro player, or also go for the kill and go for the throat. He is quite versatile like that, and ooh, just like that, mate, vetoes are already done. Our players, they just want to dive straight into this. My god.
Yeah, getting straight into it. These pro players, they do not muck around. I always find it so funny when you play in like these open tournaments and you're against a pro player and they're kind of just like ready, and then bang, countdown started. Like immediately.
Yeah.
The countdown micro off the chain.
Mate, they didn't want any time wasted. They got places to be, they got tournaments to play. And here we go, everyone in the chat. I also want to remind you, this is the winner's match. The winner of this series moves on to the playoffs. That also means that I am going to be setting up some predictions.
Yo, good luck.
Can you take it away, Papi? Can you take it away?
Yeah, no worries. So, spawning here in the bottom left of Blackburn, we're seeing our Terran playing for Team NV, the South Korean. It is QuanTa.
Beautiful. And spawning in the bottom right hand corner of Blackburn LE, we have the Croatian Protoss player himself representing Team Roddy. It is Goblin. And as you can see in the chat, people, you have 5 minutes, plenty of time to place your bets on who you think is going to win this series and move on to those playoffs. Is it going to be our Terran or our Protoss?
Very nice. Zerg skilled multitasking you've got there, lad.
Look, I was hoping they would give me a little bit more time with the vetoes, okay? They're just sucking. They have no chill, okay? God damn it.
Yeah, man. You were in the slow zone. They're in the acceleration zones with it.
Oh my god. Yeah. So, yeah, we'll see how things will go, especially in this kind of matchup. Oh my god, as QuanTa goes straight for a reactor.
Yeah, going for a reactor first, a little bit of a gamble here. So this probe going actually up into the ramp and scouting will recognize that it has a bit of freedom to just be a total nuisance here, because these units aren't going to be out for a while.
Yeah, no Marine and no reactor, no Reaper either here for QuanTa. It's going to take a while for those units to come out. In the end, doesn't go for a pylon block, will eventually allow QuanTa to expand and get his natural.
Yeah, but the pylon out one door, straight back in the other, and he's, yeah, just gonna harass this SCV here. Be a nuisance, which is, yeah, one of the disadvantages of this reactor first build, if your opponent does see it.
Yeah, exactly. So QuanTa knows that he has, Goblin knows that he has a bit of freedom here, and oh my god, even almost gets that SCV, but thankfully we have another SCV here, and the Marines pop out just in time to deal with this nuisance.
Yeah, it was a bait, man.
Oh my, and this is kind of what we were expecting. Mate, we have a 3-axe.
Yeah, and I kind of love this for QuanTa going for the reactor first into the 3-axe. It seems like a small adjustment to get the reactor first, but it does actually make this hit quite a lot harder. And meanwhile, on the other side, we're seeing a Stargate opener from Goblin.
Yeah, I'm not too fond of this. It's honestly, I feel like this is really risky from Goblin. Usually we see Stargate openers on larger maps where you have a little bit more freedom to be able to take control of the map, slow down pushes, get some scouting information, which Goblin will be able to do. But again, like the 3-axe, it's going to hit pretty hard, and I don't know if Phoenixes are necessarily the best unit to help deal with them.
Yeah, so maybe taking advantage of these the close air route on this map, and also it is, I believe, a bit of a comfort unit for Goblin as well, and it's definitely a good opening for the matchup, but possibly QuanTa, knowing a little bit about the player that he's up against, going for what is essentially a counter to this kind of opening.
Yeah, exactly. As the first Phoenix gets across the map, I mean, there is no stim, so yeah, there's no way that the Phoenix will go down, but at least he's able to get the scout off. Phoenix does confirm every single one of these raxes, so now he knows about the 3 racks.
Yeah, and at the same time, QuanTa will be able to recognize just from the kind of damage that Phoenix took that it is a real Phoenix. And I think he's going to be pretty happy with his position going forward.
Oh yeah, he's just going to be chilling here, waiting for his upgrade Stim and Combat Shield on the way, even an NG Bay for that +1. And I feel like Goblin is going to have to start preparing himself. You know, we have a second shield battery on the way here at the natural. We have a sentry as well. Sentries, force fields are going to be so important to hold off here at the natural ramp.
Yeah, just playing it safe, making sure that he can still get up to this proper Phoenix count, not doing anything too crazy. But yeah, we are seeing this push come out at a pretty good time. You will notice as well, no Marauders here going full Marine, so he's very much aware of the Stargate opener.
Meanwhile, the Phoenixes did just barely catch a glimpse of these Marines, and they're going to be able to slow this down a little bit. They are able to pick off one of those Marines in the process, and now that they know that they're gone, maybe the main base is a little bit exposed.
Yeah, so seeing some nice multitasking from Goblin, just kind of getting whatever damage he can while these units aren't home. At the same time, just preparing for this push as well. And yeah, QuanTa's seeing no third taken yet. We probably just want to be a little bit cautious with his first stim.
Oh yeah, every single stim matters, and pushing up this ramp may not be the best move, especially with shield batteries, with overcharge, with force fields. So I think he's just content to confirm that there is no third base, and he even scans to just confirm what kind of army is waiting for him.
Yeah, I was thinking he'll just wait for a scan, but seeing the Immortal, he's just going to go for it, and really nice force fields there, just completely shutting him out. And with that stim spent, I'd like to see QuanTa go home now as well with this.
Yeah, exactly. Like, there's just no way for him to find any more damage here. Goblin, he was able to keep this probe hidden as well, so he can eventually expand and take this third base. And QuanTa gonna be forced all the way back. At least he didn't lose too much. 9 Marines did go down. Again, a lot of them did go down to that main base of the Phoenixes.
Yeah, so he did delay the third a little bit with his opening, with Goblin taking all the necessary precautions, but with Goblin going into a Phoenix Colossus style here, I do think this build is extremely strong on this map, with not too many push paths available for the Terran. Having such a powerful defensive unit comp like the Phoenix Colossus can really force it into a later stage game.
You know, it'd be really good against Phoenix Colossus.
Thoughts?
Man, I'm just saying.
Oh, I don't tempt him. Don't tempt him, man.
I'm just Thors, they shoot up, you know?
They shoot down too.
They shoot up and down, and they're massive units, so they can't be picked up by Phoenixes. Mate, hard counter, mate.
Maybe you know what they can be picked up by?
What?
Medevac.
True. Oh my god. Meanwhile, QuanTa is going to be pushing out, but he runs into the main army. Extended Thermal Lance is about to finish up for this fight as well. Goblin just forcing himself up this ramp.
Yeah, I really wasn't expecting this, but Goblin actually looking for a small timing of his own here. Maybe just trying to take advantage of the slow starport that you do have when you go for this 3-racks. He knows that every swipe of these Colossus, with only 2 medevacs out here, is going to be a big deal. And we do see another stim as well coming out from QuanTa, exacerbating this problem.
Yeah, these Phoenixes just running, just laps around the army of QuanTa. He's having a really hard time keeping up with his Marines. We saw a couple of medevacs were sniped earlier. You know, the tanks have been lifted up from time and time again. Goblin has full control here. And behind this, he's just getting fully saturated on 3 bases. Just doesn't even give a damn.
Yeah, with this map control, with the upgrades coming up, more Colossus, more gates, I wouldn't be surprised to see Goblin maybe even taking a 4th off this as well.
Yeah, there's no reason not to. Why not get the gold, especially when you're going into charge loss like this, when you have that gateway explosion on the way as well. Meanwhile, QuanTa is expanding. He's taking his own 3rd base, and I love this. He's even setting himself up defensively here with that stacked defense, just to make sure, make it a little bit more awkward for the Colossus and for the Zealous to engage.
Yeah, so these tanks are going to do a good job of being able to zone out the Colossus. So definitely going for more of like a safe defensive build here, which, considering charge lots are coming, is really good for him here.
Yeah, 100% mate. So he's quite well set up, but at the same time, Goblin is in fact taking that goal base. He is in fact taking that fourth. And this is a little bit scary because with this boost in economy, he can afford to maybe even fight a little bit inefficiently to force himself through this choke point. It may not be the easiest fight, but he may be able to pull it off anyway.
Yeah, and we are actually seeing +1 air weapons being researched, so not only going into those Phoenix, I would actually not be surprised to see him eventually look to make a carrier transition if he sees that it's safe to do so.
Yeah. Hey, you know what else is good against carrier?
Hey, you want them so bad.
Look, I'm just saying, if it works, it works, okay? Oh, God.
Yeah, Goblin just being super annoying with these Phoenix, keeping tabs on the gas count as well, getting a bit of an idea for the composition that QuanTa's going towards. And we do see ghosts pretty early coming out from QuanTa as well, and I do believe there's a second factory in the main. So yeah, we might be seeing him look for some kind of push coming up very soon, but at the same time, the Zealot warp in.
Yeah, there's a massive Zealot warp in here in the main base. We did see a bit of a cheeky EMP on the Zealots and the Warp Prism. Eventually this will be dealt with. At the same time, in come the Colossus and the mass Phoenixes. Oh god, the tanks are getting picked up left and right.
Yeah, I love this idea of the double Tech Lab factory just to get enough tanks up. But Goblin just coming in right before this powers up, and yeah, I think he's just breaking through here, and this is looking great for Goblin. This Colossus Phoenix, more aggressive style coming out from him.
Yeah,
and GG is called.
GG does get called. Goblin takes the first game here. Again, just despite the opener not doing too much, eventually he did have full control. The 3 racks didn't manage to do anything other than slightly delay the third Nexus. Goblin takes the first game.
Yeah, that was beautifully done. Just kind of understanding the different timings of his Colossus style, where he's strong and where the Terran's kind of looking to power up. And I think, yeah, recognizing that the different times when these big tank pushes were getting prepared for QuanTa and just attacking at these really awkward gaps in power.
Oh yeah, it was really crazy because like I'm pretty sure neither of us really anticipated that push, especially the first one, where honestly like Goblin didn't really have too much at all. He just had 2 Colossus and like a handful of gateway units, but like he was still able to deal a surprising amount of damage with that. Yeah, just not something that you anticipate too often, and yeah, with that, a nice 1-0 lead.
Yeah, I mean, I was totally anticipating some kind of tank pressure to come out from QuanTa, actually, and yeah, Goblin just totally taking control of the game.
But you know what, everyone? Do not fret, because I recall a similar story being weaved, a similar web being weaved here in QuanTa versus the ZergLord, where game 1 was the most stock standard of games and QuanTa fell. And really, he was just laying the trap, laying the framework, luring his opponent into a false sense of security. Before on Berlingrad, he comes out with the mass Thor.
Yeah, mate, that's it. He's got the go-ahead. He's laid the trap. He's understood the lay of the land. And now he's ready to spring the Quad Thor.
It's coming, mate. It's coming.
I'm just kind of imagining these. I wish you couldn't see the Thors in the medevacs, because it's kind of obvious at that point. But if you couldn't, can you imagine the 4 medevacs come in and like the Phoenix are harassing them, and then boom, 4 Thors drop out?
Exactly, it would be crazy. It'd be crazy. Oh god, but we'll see, because again, I'm getting that vibe here. I'm getting the vibe that QuanTa likes to scout with game 1. You know, he knows that mate, take game 1. I don't need it. I'm gonna 2-0 you, mate. I'm gonna clean sweep from here, mate. Let's go. Maybe I'm just high on some copium.
On the copium, mate. He's got this.
Oh god, but speaking of who has this, spawning in the bottom right hand corner of Berlingrad, LE. Oh no!
He's a monster puppy.
Oh, he takes down the doggo in the main base, representing Team Roddy, the Croatian Protoss. He has no heart because he is Protoss. It is Goblin.
And spawning up in the top left, the South Korean Terran playing for Team Envy. He is good, he loves dogs, and John Wick will not be coming for him. It is QuanTa.
Ah. Look at that.
The dog is a dog.
The dog is a dog. Let's go. Oh my god. QuanTa, he knows what's up. The doggo, he's left alone in the main base. And, oh, Goblin, I feel like he's a little bit on hyper alert here. Yeah, he's looking for a proxy.
Yeah, maybe just being aware of this map being quite a good map to hide these kind of proxy raxes, but instead we're seeing eBay coming out to block from QuanTa. And yeah, quite a lot of HP on that eBay already. This is a really good start for him.
Oh yeah, that's a beefy eBay being thrown down, forcing Goblin to pump out that Zealot as soon as possible. And QuanTa also mixing things up here, not going for that fast reactor.
Yeah, going for a Marine opener this time, just playing it a little bit more safe. But at the same time, we're seeing the double gas immediately thrown down by Goblin, and he might be looking to have a bit more of an aggressive response to this.
Yeah, exactly. With this additional gases, he can take up immediately after the Cybercore finishes up. So we shall see. First Adept is already on the way. And we'll see how long it does end up taking him to take that Nexus. Meanwhile, again, QuanTa not going for a 3-racks. Not this time, but the factory's on the way. It's coming.
Yeah, just a standard 1-1-1 coming out of QuanTa, and I don't mind this too much. That 3-racks, while it does kind of make sense as a build to go for against this Stargate, it was like comprehensively shut down in that last game.
Yeah.
And I'm happy to see him trying something a little bit different this time.
Oh yeah. Going back to see what works here, as QuanTa even goes for a follow-up SCV scout. He will get into the main base, and with this SCV, he will confirm the Stargate behind that main base, just barely, as, oh, maybe I spoke too soon. Looking at the vision here, he did not spot the Stargate.
Yeah, so really good diligence there to just get in the double scout, making sure that the base did in fact go down. Nothing too crazy is coming his way, but yeah, it would have been nice to see exactly what it is coming his way. And these units, huge delay on this base here actually, so close to finishing him. Yeah, this is actually quite a big deal here for Goblin.
It really is, mate, especially because we have another Adept on the way. Thankfully, the CC will finally finish, but not before 3 SCVs were taken down in the process. My god. Goblin once again going for that Stargate opener. No Oracle first, instead going for the Phoenix. Sorry, Oracle did come out first. Here to defend, and he will get revealed.
Yeah, so that Hellion really just made for scouting, and he does see what he needs to see. But at the same time, really impressive from Goblin coming out from this opening. That Zealot to clear out the eBay, never really something that you want to start out with, but being able to send it across the map and get some really good damage. I'm sure Goblin's loving his position here so far.
Oh yeah, 100%, mate. Oh my god, the Oracle dips in once again. Is going to get a couple more kills. Ends up forcing the Mule. Gets a kill on the Mule even. But QuanTa is not going to take this line down. He is going to sneak across the map with a bit of a Widowmine drop.
Yeah, unfortunately, a little bit of indecisiveness coming out there from Goblin with what exactly to target there. And QuanTa just doesn't care about the Stargate, man. He's just going for the Widow drop anyway, and I think it's going to pay off big time for him.
Yeah, exactly. He was barely able to avoid these Phoenixes in the middle of the map. He did not get caught out. Drops are here at the natural. There's no response.
Oh.
Goblin!
Oh, and that's huge damage. Honestly, even a pull is usually enough damage for these mine drops. And yeah, you see the Phoenix immediately coming home just to finish off this medevac before it can do any more of its dirty business.
Exactly, but you know what? It's already paid for itself. 6 probe kills, not bad at all. That's a great way to equalize here. QuanTa had sustained so many losses in the early game. He needed something to go his way, and the drop is exactly what he needed. But he's not out of the woodworks yet. We still have all these Phoenixes, and the missile turret is still not done.
Yeah, good damage from these Phoenix straight away. The Marine's just a little bit out of position here. Yeah, we can see some of the micro prowess of Goblin with these units, just getting all this extra value out of them constantly.
Yeah, and just like the previous game, once again, he does want to go straight into that robotic space, straight into those Colossus. So Phoenix Colossus seems to be Goblin's bread and butter, at least in this series, in this matchup, I should say. He's getting there once again.
Yeah, just playing super safe, and we are seeing a 3-1-1 coming out of QuanTa as well. A little bit of a delay on the unit production, maybe a small supply. Oh, and yeah, this is quite a hefty supply block, actually.
Yeah, it looks like finally the supply depot is going to finish up here, but again, he needs another depot. Oh, God, not like this.
Yeah, honestly, this is a disaster for QuanTa, and we can also say that this is a lot of this sort of thing. It's comes from the pressure that the other player is able to put on, and Goblin has just been non-stop moving these Phoenix around, looking for different angles, and you can see the indirect damage it's actually got in this case with the huge supply block.
Oh yeah. QuanTa, he's gonna eventually get out of that. Meanwhile, he did sneak all of his Marines across the map. He confirms the third base, but doesn't pull the trigger yet. He knows that he can't really do anything until Stim finishes, so he's gonna be chilling here, waiting for his moment to pounce to maybe get a kill. No, actually, he's just coming back home. Never mind.
Yeah, I'm sure he recognizes the production that he missed during those supply blocks, and this push that he maybe was planning, I just don't think that he's got enough to make this push anymore, and that's going to give Goblin the time he needs to really establish this third, get a few Colossus, even pick off a few more SCVs here. So yeah, just a Widow drop coming out of QuanTa, a bit more conservative. I don't mind this decision.
Yeah, I don't mind it either. You know, we have 4 Widow Mines here. Once again, he's going to be able to bypass all these Phoenixes, so maybe he can get some more damage here. It's going to be a little bit more difficult just because we do have more units at home to defend, but we'll see if things kind of favor him here as drop is coming.
Yeah, so just recognizing a little bit, I think he's starting to catch on a little bit onto the way that Goblin plays, just very defensive at home while using these Phoenix to harass. And with this mine drop, as well as potentially getting a little bit of damage, he has bought the space for himself as well.
Yeah, exactly. We do have 2 mines at the third base, 2 mines at the natural as well. Mines in the natural are going to get cleaned up, so not too much damage, but at least he's able to wreak a little bit of havoc. And now QuanTa goes for a triple drop here into the main base, a drop that Goblin has not scouted.
Yeah, and he just scans the third as he does that, sees the Colossus position, and go, taking out 2 Phoenix immediately, focusing the Robo, and this is already fantastic damage.
Exactly, the Robo goes down. What's a little bit difficult is being able to escape here. There are a lot of Phoenixes, but it looks like with the boost, the medevacs are going to be able to hop on over the cliff, land all these Marines, and he'll be able to escape.
Yeah, just really great timing there, and a really good job throwing down that scan at the third, just to make sure that the Colossus aren't there, and oh, so close to the pick off there as well.
Yeah, decent damage dealt to that Colossus, but now it looks like the medevacs may be hunted down. QuanTa trying to escape, trying to get all the way back home, overstimming a little bit, but again, it's necessary if he wants to be able to evacuate, and it looks like in the end he will.
Yeah, does a great job making his escape there, and even with all these elaborate defenses that were set up by Goblin, he does manage to find the chink in the armor, and we're looking at a much more even game after quite a disastrous opening for QuanTa.
Oh, exactly, and something that's quite interesting, as the Widow Mines are finally going to get cleaned up, the Robo that was sniped was never rebuilt, so 2 Colossus are all we have to work with. Goblin hasn't quite recognized that he needs to rebuild that Robo.
Yeah, a bit of an interesting change of pace. It could also be on purpose. We are seeing the Templar Archives coming up, so potentially looking for like a Zealot Archon timing maybe?
Yeah, I mean, obviously this will kind of open up another avenue of splash damage here, but there we go. Double Robo get thrown down, recognizing like, I need to catch up a little bit. But he does cancel one of the Robos in the end, so maybe a little bit of indecisiveness, but at least he'll be able to resume Colossus production, but for the time being, only 2 Colossus.
Yeah, maybe this indecision as well, and that delay in finding that he was missing the Robo has opened up a little bit of a window for QuanTa here, but seeing that the 4th isn't down yet, he's just going to play it a little bit slower, which, not a bad decision at all.
Yeah, just confirms no 4th base, and now he can think about taking his own. Ghost Academy is done. Ghosts are now in production. You could argue that maybe QuanTa would want to dive on this army because it's not looking too intimidating, but I'm sure he wants to wait until he has the Ghosts, until he has those EMPs.
Yeah, very good scan there, kind of anticipating the defenses and kind of clearing the way out, just kind of poking and prodding and seeing where the openings might be, clearing out map vision and setting himself up for future success here.
Oh yeah, now this third base is looking a little bit more exposed. The army is coming back over, but Goblin replaces that stasis trap with an adept to just scout, confirm where the army is, and now his Colossus can rotate on over. Meanwhile, QuanTa working on airship attack. Let's go for his Vikings. Viking production has commenced. Honestly, a decent amount of Vikings here.
Yeah, maybe just looking for a bit of a Ghost Viking timing. This is one of the power spikes that Terran has in the matchup. And having a few extra ghosts as well does really help with those Phoenix, because on top of taking off the shields, you can just EMP and get rid of the energy that they have for lifts, negating that unit quite a bit.
Oh yeah. We'll see how QuanTa is going to be able to execute this. I'm a little bit concerned because his army is a little bit split up here. He does have a reasonable force towards the north, looking to try and hit this base, and he actually finds his way in. Oh.
Yeah, he's just going to use this to start pulling what he can out of position, and we can see that Goblin has split up his army quite intelligently, and yeah, beautiful cleanup on the right there.
Yeah, the right-hand army does get cleaned up, but at the same time, QuanTa will get a kill on that Nexus at the fourth.
Yeah, he does a great job denying the Nexus, but this is one of the dangerous positions that you can get to in Terran, where if you do these two-prong attacks and one of your prongs is cleaned up, suddenly there's a bit of an army disparity, and this is very overstimmed bio. I'm a little worried for him here.
Exactly. He's also losing a lot of ghosts in the retreat. He barely is able to escape here. Thankfully, QuanTa has his own fourth base, and Goblin doesn't feel like he has enough to really counterattack. Was it worth it to get a kill in that fourth base? Arguably, but again, looking at the units lost tab, he did end up losing 3 ghosts there in that trade.
Yeah, his army is looking very bruised here, and as well, with the disruptors coming out here, he really does need liberators in the future, but he lost a whole bunch of medevacs that he's going to need to replace.
True, yeah, like his starports are too busy pumping out medevacs, and now is the timing here for Goblin. He goes for a massive counterattack. The Colossus is still alive from earlier, and now we have those disruptors. The Phoenixes are still alive as well, and there's just no way for QuanTa to really engage.
Yeah, even throwing down the stasis trap to cover his flank, and I think seeing what's there for him up at the ramp, he'll be pretty content to just rotate and keep the pressure on.
Yeah, just denying the fourth base is all he needs to do. He goes for a little bit of a zealot run by. It will eventually be cleaned up, but I'm sure Goblin is quite happy with what he has accomplished. Backs off, looking to soon max out, and we may even see that carrier transition. +1 air attack was already researched. If he wants to, he can just tech all the way up.
Yeah, this is looking like a really good position for Goblin, is getting towards this army that he wanted. And yeah, like we were saying before, QuanTa kind of trying to rush out those medevacs and heal all his forces up. He's not going to have the liberators that he wanted with that +1 air attack.
Exactly, like the starport production just isn't there for him. He doesn't have the economy for it. He needs another base. He needs a fourth up and running. And I mean, he does have another CC on the way to eventually get it, but he needs it now, not later.
Yeah, and one thing I did just notice, look at these turrets. This observer is sitting right in between the turrets, so he's going to have no idea that there's an observer watching him, because it just seems so unlikely with all this turret coverage.
Yeah, Goblin sees everything. He sees all the army movement. My god, how many disruptors does he have? It's insane.
Yeah, meanwhile, there is also a drop on the other side of the map, so we are seeing a base for a base, and Goblin doesn't even actually take the base out so far.
Yeah, exactly, but at the same time, he just has so much army, forces the bio back here. Does he have enough QuanTa? It looks like he does get one of the Colossus, but there's still one more remaining. There's still plenty of disruptors as well in the back line. Oh!
Yeah, QuanTa just looking to focus down anything he can. Archons, disruptors, Colossus, but all it takes is for that one ball to land, and suddenly this is looking very different.
Yeah, all it takes is one, and Goblin, he has 6 here with his main army. At the same time, QuanTa is coming back home with his army. Sure, he did get a Nexus, but he needed more than just that Nexus. And even with this army returning home, I don't know if he has enough to contend with Goblin's army. Oh.
Yeah, honestly. Oh, great pick off there, picking up the disruptor. A little bit sloppy there from Goblin, but He's got so much damage already. I'm loving his position here.
Yeah, exactly. He rotates down towards the fourth base. He took down the third. Now he will take down the fourth as well, knocking QuanTa down to only 2 CCs. And with this, he's pulling the... Okay, is he pulling the boys now? He's just trying to land his main.
Lovely EMPs there out from QuanTa, but I just don't think he's got enough army supply. And with the disruptors coming in as well, he's just going to be able to get this army away from his army. I think we're seeing the beginning of the end here.
Yeah, it's the end of the end. GG gets called. Goblin takes the series 2-0, and he will be coming out first in Group D.
Yeah, honestly, well deserved there from Goblin. Beautifully played PvT. You could see he really had a grasp of all the different stages of the matchup, and even taking a little bit of damage from that drop at the start, the drop in his main, he managed to restabilize, get up to that disruptor count that he needed, and see it out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. GG, well played. You know, Goblin, there's a reason why he was the champion of Who is Amateur King #2. He is a force to be reckoned with. He did bleed today, don't get us wrong. He did drop a game to LunaSea, but unfortunately, QuanTa, as amazing as his TVZ looked in TVP, he didn't have that spice, he didn't have that flavor, he didn't have those Thors.
Yeah, I think that's it, mate. He forgot the Thors. Aye.
Oh my god. Shaking my head. So with that, again, congratulations to Goblin. He is done for the day. He does move on to those playoffs. But now we have to figure out who is going to be also leaving us tonight in the elimination match.
Who is also maybe also going to be the amateur king.
There you go, mate. There you go. Oh god. As I do see Pikachu in the chat asking, Goblin is an amateur? Kind of. So this tournament is basically, it's kind of like a Rising Stars Cup, where it's like it takes the up-and-coming players from different regions, from Korea, from Europe, and from North America. It's debatable if you could say that Goblin is a rising star, but like, I don't think we could say that he's like a fully established like top 8 player in EU, so at least for the organizers of this tournament, he fits those credentials, I guess.
Yeah, definitely a very strong player in the field, but we saw even with his match against LunaSea, it's not like he's unbeatable for these players. Like, these are very good players that he's coming up against, and I think they do, especially in the later stages, they are going to have what it takes to challenge him.
Exactly. Like, again, it was shown that Goblin can bleed, so some of these other players from some of these other groups could be looking at him and might have Goblin in their crosshairs. We'll see how the playoffs eventually unfold. But before that happens, we have to find out who's going to be the loser of this group. Oh boy. 2 great players that we saw today, but we do have to say goodbye to one of them, and it's also a bit of a shame because this is going to be a bit of a team kill.
Yeah, so pity with the team kill, but not really a pity for us because it's going to be a banger of a game. I'm really excited to see what LunaSea has in store for the ZVP matchup because as much as he could be creative in PvP, I actually think that ZVP does have a little bit more room for the Protoss to come up with some wacky strategies, just in terms of like what you can do with perhaps like a Stargate opening or something like that. I'm very excited to see how he likes to play this matchup. Oh yeah, especially in current meta where, you know, things are a little bit unstable. You know, it's not just double Stargate Void Ray every single game. LunaSea, he can do a couple of different things, right? You know, we could see DTs, we could see Charge the All-Ins, we could see Glaive Adepts, we could see Blink Stalkers, we could see Fast Fleet Beacon into Tempest, into Carriers. The world is your oyster. Yeah, mate. Queen Walks are cancelled. All bets are off.
True.
The Protoss is in charge now.
True. Eps in the chat for the Queen Walks. Oh god. But at the same time, the ZergLord, you know, he's not going to take this lying down either. He may not be the most stylistic player, but he's also quite aggressive. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if at some point we see a 12 pool opener from him, or a roach all in as well, suddenly deciding to cut drones. I doubt we're going to see like a stock standard macro ZVP from these two.
Yeah. Already seeing him vetoing some of the bigger maps and looking to pick some of the smaller maps, we can see that, yeah, he is not afraid to have a bit more of a scrappy game.
Oh yeah. So you do see a couple of bans being thrown down. Pride of Altaris is banned. Glittering Ashes as well. So the two largest maps, they gone, mate. They are out. Looks like we are starting with Berlin and Berlin instead.
Yeah, you love to see it. I don't want to see any of those giant, scary Zerg maps. Keep it in the nice, comfy maps.
Oh god. Again, I think it kind of worked out for you, because the only like really strong Zerg map that we saw, like, you had like tech issues, so you didn't get to see it.
Yeah, my eyes were away. Man, lurkers don't exist. If I can't see them, they're not real.
They don't exist. They're not here, mate. They're not in Group D.
Lurkers can't hurt you.
Oh god.
The Thors are here to protect me.
That's another thing to think about. QuanTa is waiting in the decider match. Depending on how this goes, we could see a ZergLord versus QuanTa rematch.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I'm sure ZergLord's had a bit of time to sit down and think about his response to that, and it would be kind of cool to see what he has in store if that does happen again, because I wouldn't be surprised to see the quad Thor drop again, to be honest.
I would love to see the ZergLord come out with like a different response and still lose.
Man, you just want the narrative. You're just like, see, unbeatable.
Unbeatable, mate. ZVT unwinnable. Oh,
yeah,
God.
but as we do see the game starting up now, we are going to be going into Hardwire. And do you think that Hardwire maybe favors either of these players a little bit?
That's a good question, right? There are certain features that aren't quite prevalent in this map. You know, we don't have any gold bases, we don't have short rush distance by air, but depending on specifically expansions, you know, some players might be a little bit more exposed to others, and we have seen Skytel's kind of be prevalent here. But again, don't worry, I don't think we're gonna see that.
Yeah, because this Protoss that we do have spawning here up in the top right, he is more aggressive than your average Protoss, and I am expecting to see some kind of crazy all-ins coming out of him. Representing Team Super, it is the South Korean LunaSea.
And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Hardwire LE, we have the Brazilian Zerg player himself, representing Team Super, as this is a bit of a team kill. It is the ZergLord. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm feeling a little bit afraid for the ZergLord. Some backstory, if you weren't here this morning, we were live here on this channel. I was casting Sentimiento Latino, and or Sacramento Latino, as some people like to call it. The ZergLord did make it all the way to the grand finals of that weekly tournament, and he made it to the finals against a Protoss player, where he did end up falling in a ZVP.
Interesting.
Yeah, or oh my god, we have a Forge First! We have a Forge First, puppy! Oh my god!
Oh no, and this is such an abusive spot that he's got here. You know, I never really thought of this, but it does make sense that you can still do this against Zerg, because the creep doesn't reach this spot.
Yeah, it doesn't reach. The pylons are up. Cannons are going to be thrown down. The ZergLord is trying to get some vision here on the low ground just in case he forces his probe out. Oh my god!
busted. I did not know about that. That's actually a crazy spot, but the TheZergLord does anticipate the low ground switch, and he's got the drones there ready. Really good move there.
Yeah, exactly. The pylons are going to be going down. It looks like the TheZergLord will be able to clean up this cannon rush. The Copium is here. This pylon is not going to finish up. The TheZergLord will hold.
Yeah, beautifully defended. DPS is down the pylons before they can power that cannon. And this was a pretty flawless defense from TheZergLord, and he's already got his lings out, ready to go straight across the map.
Yeah, it's like, mate, LunaSea, who do you think you are, okay? Latin America has Turkey Dino, mate. A player who literally cannon rushes every single game.
Yeah, I've got to say, TheZergLord looks like he was, as much as he was caught off guard by the fantastic positioning that was had there, he was all over that. The exact right amount of drones, ready for the low ground. And yeah, already seeing him putting a bit of pressure on of his own on the other side of the map.
Yeah, the TheZergLord, he was forged in the flames of the NA ladder, mate, okay? He knows all about this. Meanwhile, a bit of a rough hold position.
No!
Ay. That's like a solid feels bad, man, because you know the TheZergLord assumed that he had like rallied it and hold positioned on purpose. That's why he was just standing there, and it's like
yeah, I've got to assume that was like a shift Q to hold position as well, so yeah, that sucks.
So LunaSea is not out of this yet. You know, he does have a full wall off. He does get his cannon up and running at home, and he's already fully sat. He's ahead in probes. Like he's not out of this yet.
Protoss OP, man.
You're preaching to the choir, mate. I mean, this
has been the perfect group for you. We've seen Thor's mech OP. We've seen Protoss OP. You're just like, I've been telling you guys.
What do you mean?
Come on.
What do you mean perfect? I mean, that's every StarCraft tournament. What are you talking about? Oh my god.
Yeah, meanwhile, we're just seeing this third coming up for LunaSea, going into, maybe recognizing that he does have a pretty okay economic position and looking to extend that a little bit as the Stargate is going up in the main as well.
Oh, yeah, exactly. One of the more common follow-ups of a failed cannon rush is to go straight into Stargate. Your gas is kind of preserved for that, so LunaSea is looking to try and tech up there as quickly as possible. We'll see if he commits to the Sky Toss or if it's just a Stargate just to hold on and to defend. We'll see, as again, there won't be a Queen Walk to really punish this, but the TheZergLord goes for a very fast lair. Yeah,
maybe just anticipating that he does have potentially a little bit of a timing here as LunaSea tries to set up this third.
Yeah, I mean, the TheZergLord is going to have some options here. Like, again, even though the TheZergLord hasn't gone into the main base, he can assume that it's going to be Sky Toss. Oh my god, LunaSea is doubling down, going straight into a Fleet Beacon as well. So he could be looking to go straight into Tempest, mate.
Yeah, I'm already hearing the "is it Imba or do I suck" complaints, whereas like my opponent went for a cannon rush, I flawlessly shut it down. It got no damage at all, and then he just makes carriers and wins the game. But at the same time, with this fast lair, if he is looking for a Spire, this is probably the best situation that he could have.
Oh yeah, we have gases at the natural, we have gases at the third. There is that Spire, so the TheZergLord also cutting as many corners to go straight into those Corruptors. Tempests are great, but they do get hard countered by Corruptors.
Yeah, a bit of a feels bad for LunaSea. This is a little bit like when you rush into BC's Terran. If the Zerg already has the Spire ready, they can just pump out enough Corruptors that they need to shut down your pressure, and suddenly you're in a really scary position against the ground army.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I don't blame LunaSea for going for this, but again, he's also being a little bit risky, right? He could have gone into, like, I don't know, Fluxvane's Void Rays instead, just to gain control of the area of his side of the map instead, so he may be punished for his greed. Thankfully, he is transitioning into Ground Toss. We see Gateways and a Twilight Council on the way, so he does eventually want to transition, but the Tempests are they're not long for this world.
Yeah, it's good to see him taking the necessary safety steps, and this is a really cool idea, having the Tempests behind all this greed. and looking for a bit of harass with them, but already showing his hand here, I think this is going to be no issue at all for the ZergLord to deal with.
Yeah, exactly.
And he might even get a cancel in the space.
Oh my god, cancel puppy! We do see a cancel in time, but again, the ZergLord is going to be able to slow this down because he confirmed the Tempest Corruptors are already on the way. Quickly looking at the vision of LunaSea, he has not scattered the natural, he does not see the Spire, he doesn't know how vulnerable these Tempests are. They are.
Yeah, mate, you said that maybe you would have liked to see something a bit safer, like a Flux Bane before he goes for this Tempest. Why not both, mate? Poor Cade, no less dots.
Oh my god. What the hell was that, mate?
Nah, it's alright, it's alright. We're not on the Sacramento team.
True. Ay. ¿Por qué no los dos, mate? As the Corruptors are moving out across the map. One Tempest already going down. We do have a shield battery, but again, with enough Corruptors, they will be able to just dive on top of the Tempest, make short work of them. Void Rays are out, but they are out of position, and again, there are only a handful of them. Void Rays are great against Corruptors, but not in low numbers like this.
Yeah, these Tempests are dunge, mate, and these Corruptors are going to be an absolute menace, just sharking around, looking for any loose air units they can find. And we're seeing the Queens, you know, straying a little bit from their safe haven of creep.
Yeah, they can't spread creep here, unfortunately, but yo, there's a Nidus on the way! There's a Nidus, he's gonna spread creep, puppy! He's gonna spread the creep, let's go!
Mate, these Zerg players, they will not take it no for an answer. If you tell them they can't Queen Walk, they're like, mate, yes I can. I will bring the creep to me.
Exactly, mate. Let's go. Hopefully he leaves the Queen closer to the Nidus so we can actually spread that. He'll just... he's just slow pushing with Niduses. Okay, let's go.
Yeah, we're kind of seeing the ingenuity of the Zergs here. The whole map, really, you know, Zergs are a bit entitled. They think everything belongs to them. All the championships, now the map. And, yeah, as long as he can start getting these transfuses going, there is actually a little bit of a gap here where he can start DPS down in the Queens, but that gap is quickly passing.
Yeah, we even have some Ravagers as well to pile away at this Protoss army, force them back. Overcharge 4, these Void Rays have already been used, and we just have Mass Queen Roach Ravager on the way here. Can LunaSea hold on? I mean, the shield batteries have been doing a decent job, but ooh, in the end, every single Void Ray fell. Only a single one remaining.
Yeah, so we're seeing him do a really good job with these Stalkers, trying to create a little bit of an arc, buy himself some time, but yeah, with those power units going down, I think ZergLord's going to be pretty happy with the damage that he's got here already.
Yeah, and he can just keep on going as well. Oh, a bit of a questionable move out by LunaSea. It looks like he will indeed lose that Archon, so only gateway units remaining here from our Protoss player. This is a kind of a weird choke point, so he is kind of holding on, and he does have a 4th base up and running behind this. So again, all he has to do is just barely defend. His economy is looking really good. But the ZergLord, look at the supply, mate. There's just a lot of Roach Ravager.
Yeah, like this army that he's got here, he doesn't really mind trading this out, especially if he can get a bit of extra damage. And I'm sure he'll recognize as well that once the time for damage has passed, he can rotate over and start putting pressure on the 4th base as well.
Yeah, exactly. He can just kind of pick and choose where he wants to go. And there we go. He decides to go up this ramp instead. He gives up on trying to break that 3rd base location. And oh my god, even going for a surround with the Roach Ravager and the Queen.
Yeah, really taking advantage of a bit of impatience from LunaSea just to punish the position. And yeah, this is suddenly looking really good for ZergLord as LunaSea's army supply is plummeting.
Yeah, exactly. Even the Void Ray being biled down, only a single Void Ray or 2 more coming out here, but there's just so much Zerg on the ground. Who said Queen Walks were dead? I saw someone talking about Raynor going for a Queen Walk in King of Battles. Clearly, Raynor was watching some Sacramento Latino in the morning, mate. He was tuning into the ZergLord.
Raynor's taking notes. He's like, oh, this ZergLord guy, he knows what he's doing. He doesn't let these Protosses get away with trying to, you know, live peacefully. He knows the Zerg way. Everything must belong to the Zerg eventually.
Exactly. There's a reason why he is the ZergLord. 3rd base does go down. 4th base now completely isolated. Gonna go down as well. What do we have remaining here for LunaSea? He does have a couple of Void Rays, a couple of Archons, just a handful of units. He's down. He's got less than half the army supply. My god.
Yeah, this really isn't enough to do anything. And I love the way that ZergLord has done this entire attack, just trying to get the maximum damage, not just kind of taking that fourth base that he probably could have killed at any time, but making sure that he's constantly looking for any extra pickoffs that he can get, and it's served him really well here.
Oh yeah, exactly. Very patient, very kind of in a way analytical here with how he engaged.
Ooh,
the Biles even shutting down
Biles,
the boy
mate. 2 for 1.
Mate, who needs queens? Just get Ravagers. They shoot up.
And GG is called with the ZergLord taking that quite convincingly with the illegal strategy of Queen Wolf.
GG, well played. The ZergLord does take game number 1. Ooh, and gets that much closer to that rematch.
Yeah, you know what? If I was him, I don't know how happy I would be about having to go face that crazy Thor style again. But at the same time, as we said, he has had time to think about it, and if he does in fact manage to get through LunaSea, it'll be awesome to see what he's come up with. But you know, LunaSea did show in the game against Goblin as well that he can learn from the first game and come up with some crazy strategy to abuse what he's seen in the second game, and I'm kind of expecting that sort of thing to come out from him now.
Exactly. Like, I would be very surprised if we see another cannon rush from LunaSea. But again, as a Protoss player, cannon rushes are not the only thing you have available to you if you want to be aggressive. There's so much more that you can do. We could see, I don't know, like even a 4-leaf clover, like a 4-gate zealot all in or something crazy like that. Like, mate, could be anything, mate. Could be anything.
Mate, they got the tools. They got the better tools, some might even say. And spawning here in the bottom right with those better tools, it is the Korean Protoss playing for Team Super, LunaSea.
And spawning in the top left-hand corner of Berlingrad LE, we have the Brazilian Zerg player himself representing Team Super. It is the ZergLord.
I gotta admit, I was really excited when I saw 2 probes moving out, but I forgot that that's just how you hatch block.
Feels bad, man. But you know what? The ZergLord goes for a pull first here, so he himself is anticipating some aggression and opening this up a little bit safe. Again, not the most aggressive pull first, but yeah.
Mate, how are you gonna get hatch blocked if you don't make a hatch?
True. And because the probe moved out of position, can the ZergLord get his third on location? It looks like his natural location. He will not get an unnatural natural.
Yes, a pretty good start here already from the ZergLord. We are seeing a little bit of a delay to get his gas as well. Is that something you normally see with this kind of build?
Yeah. Your gases are delayed here. Instead of the gases, you are getting your lings out. You're getting your queens out as well. 6 lings are going to be on the way, so a little bit more committed. LunaSea should recognize that this is a pull first. He even confirmed this just because of how late the natural was, so he should be working on a wall at home. He should be working on his zealot at home. The links are coming. We need a zealot, papi. We need some units. LunaSea. The links are coming. Okay, I guess he's just gonna wall off.
Yeah, I guess he's got something in store. He knows exactly what's coming his way, so... Yeah, and there we go. Just a pylon straight in the middle. So, and that should buy him a little bit of time at least, but this Cybercore's going to take a lot of damage.
Yeah, this is a very, very greedy response here from LunaSea. He did not want to make that Zell. The Cybercore is getting pretty low. All the shields are already gone. The Adept is on the way, but mate, the Cybercore, it's going to go down.
Mate, this Cybercore is done, and he throws down a Stargate behind it, so... Not even rebuilding the Cybercore just yet, going straight into the Stargate. And we do see the Cybercore go down now, but yeah, this is going to significantly delay any of the gateway units that he was going to get.
Yeah, exactly. LunaSea not taking this seriously. The response that he just did works on larger maps. It works on your Glittering Ashes because you have a little bit more time. Your Adept does get out a little bit faster, but on a map like Berlingrad, you cannot be greedy like that.
Yeah, and we are seeing seeing I really like that he goes to block this third, because one of the problems that he is going to be facing soon is a bit of a lack of map presence from not having these extra adepts.
Yeah, exactly. He just only has the single adept, which is here at home on the wrong side of the wall, just stuck here doing nothing. At least he did not delay his Stargate. Like that's why he threw it down immediately. He didn't want to rebuild the Cybercore, wait till it was done, and then get a tech structure up and running. So LunaSea, at least he does have that going for him. But outside of that, bit of a rough start.
Yeah, the base looking very bare for him, and we are seeing a double Oracle opening coming out. It's a good way to kind of get a bit of a scout of what's going on with the Zerg before he commits to anything too crazy like those proxy tempests or something like that. So I am liking that coming from him.
Yeah, exactly. But the queens are already in position. No Spore, because we had plenty of queens to already DPS down that Oracle. No shields available. Oracle doesn't do anything yet, but soon we will have a second Oracle to join him.
Yeah, really accurate defense coming out there from the ZergLord, but we are even seeing a third Oracle coming out and maybe seeing something a little bit more aggressive. I mean, I do remember hearing about potentially openings like this becoming a little bit more common in this new meta with the queens not being able to queen walk on hatch tech. So yeah, we might be seeing LunaSea being able to show us a bit more of the kind of builds that he has prepared.
Yeah, we'll see as he dives in with two of these oracles, does get some stasis traps off, and we'll be able to delay a little bit of mining here, a lot of lost mining in the main base. Ideally, with this third oracle, you ideally want to leave it at home, but actually he goes across the map with it. So now with triple oracle, he can DPS down a queen if he finds it a little bit isolated. But at the moment, they are all kind of left to their own devices.
Yeah, we are seeing all three of them split up, and it is quite impressive as well, having these three oracles kind of watching everything you do and trying to pick off any loose units. But I think we are just going to see him try to be a real nuisance with these stasis traps.
Yeah, exactly. Oh my god!
Oh, huge stasis trap, and another in the main.
Oh my god! The one at the third did not get up and running, but in the main and the natural they did. LunaSea getting work done with these oracles.
Yeah, this is one of those strategies, kind of like a Widow Mine drop or something like that, where all it takes is one big connection. You can be deflected over and over and over again, but once the one does get through, it's suddenly all worth it. And we are seeing a little bit of aggression behind this coming from LunaSea.
Yeah, exactly. From here, he is transitioning straight into ground toss. We have Blink on the way, +1 as well. Not just that, but also a bit of a gateway explosion. So he's going to be going straight into a pretty dedicated Blink Stalker push. How many gates do we have in total here? We have we have 7 in total. That's a lot of gates.
Yeah, I really like this overall from him. Just kind of like delaying the build up from the Zerg, keeping an eye on everything that's happening, and it's just going to make this push even more powerful.
Yeah, the one thing that I don't know if I'm fond of is the fact that we don't have a Robo here from LunaSea. Not necessarily for Robo production when it comes to Immortals or even Disruptors, but even like a War Prism to just reinforce and just keep the pressure up. He doesn't really have it here. He just has this like lone standing army.
Yeah, it looks like he's actually not going to commit too hard to the pressure just yet. We do see him also putting down his 4th, so yeah, just kind of staying unpredictable, trying to find the lead any place that it presents itself.
Yeah, exactly. And again, he does have a pretty large Stalker army, so he can kind of bleed his way forward, take out as much creep as he can, maybe catch a couple of stray Overlords. But forcing himself into one of these bases is going to be a little bit more difficult. We do have an Adept here at the 3rd base, and he actually tries to dive on top of these roaches.
Yeah, just being super annoying with this. Maybe trying to bait out a little bit of an overcommitment as well, chasing down the Stalkers, but ZergLord's all over it, using the bios just to take out that Stasis Lord.
Oh, exactly. Oh, the target fire, though, is looking pretty good here from LunaSea. He does target down one of those queens. He's trying to bait his opponent into said stasis traps. Oh.
Yeah, decent connection there with the stasis trap, but I think ZergLord is actually taking some pretty good trades here against the Stalkers too.
Oh my god, but the majority of the roaches have been dealt with, and now the Ravagers are looking a little bit exposed, but with the reinforcements, the ZergLord, he will have enough. He will force all of these Stalkers back, especially with the completion of the stasis trap. And behind all of this, the ZergLord, he did actually go for a Spire.
Yeah, so not quite committing to the Spire just yet, seeing the, to the Spire units just yet. Just kind of addressing the problem that's on his doorstep here. But he does seem to be in a good position to counterattack potentially after this is done.
Yeah, exactly. The Stalkers just can't really find a way in. Again, it's difficult just because they don't have that backbone to their army. They don't have any kind of like high-tech robo units just yet, just pure gateways. But to be fair, with pure gateways, it is possible to overwhelm the Zerg player. Like, if the ZergLord isn't too careful, if he decides to tech up a little bit too quickly and get caught off creep like this, like, it can be kind of scary.
Yeah, I do wonder if there would have been a bit more of a window for damage if he had gone for something like, say, like an Immortal push with this as well. But as we say that, 6 gates just recently went down for LunaSea, and he's getting charge and +2 as well. So we might see a huge gateway influx coming in after.
Yeah.
And yeah, with this mineral advantage, this could be quite overwhelming, like you said.
This is, it's like Haas playing a PvT. What's going on? What's going on, man? He's just going Maz Zealot Stalker. And it could work if the ZergLord wasn't already working on Banelings. That's a lot.
Oh my goodness.
That's a lot of Banelings, mate.
Yeah, he's going full gateway aim, mate. But at the same time, we do actually see possibly ZergLord was already looking to move into a timing of his own. And yeah, with this huge amount of Banelings, there's no way that Charge Lots are going to be able to get anything done.
Yeah, exactly. Charge Lots will not work when it comes to the main army, but they're going for a massive counterattack instead here towards the north. They will at least force a kill or a cancel at that 12 o'clock base. At the same time, the ZergLord is across the map.
Yeah, just going to see whatever damage that he can get done with these Banes. Oh, and the probes!
The probes are going to go down, so will the Nexus, but at the same time, that 12 o'clock hatchery was killed. The Zealots, they're not done, by the way. They're going straight for the third, and the ZergLord is kind of turning around.
Yeah, so just kind of doing a really good job of getting the damage that he can, but the strength that Zealots do have is if you don't have enough army supply there to deal with them, they can get out of control so quickly, and we're seeing this here.
Exactly, the Zealots, they take down so many probes here, but they also kind of trade a little bit at the same time. A Bailey run by! Oh.
Yeah, meanwhile, across the map, 35 probes in total have gone down. So, huge Bane connections, I can assume.
Oh my god, exactly. Looking at the units lost tab here, only 11 drones went down at the third base, so the ZergLord, really good crisis management. It could have been so much worse there for him, and LunaSea struggling a little bit more, just barely got any mining. He's got some bases, but not a lot of probes.
Yeah, this gateway style that we're seeing coming out from LunaSea really relies so much on momentum being on your side and just being able to keep the pressure constantly up while you expand and slowly like overwhelm your opponent. But ZergLord, with a huge blow coming out here, is actually looking to kind of do the same thing himself.
Oh god, exactly. Like, he's just aping his way up the ramp. There are Archons, don't get us wrong, but with enough Banelings, you can just power your way through the Archons anyway.
Yeah, he's just going to smash his way through, and it looks like he's just got an overwhelming amount of units, and yeah, this is looking great for the ZergLord here.
Yeah, there's just far too much. I mean, even if LunaSea's able to hold on, and to be fair, he is going for another Zealot run by at that third base, does get a couple more drone kills, but he's just losing so much in the process, forces a recall. With the recall, maybe he can hold on to this fourth base.
Yeah, recall's the one power wizard Archon. Does manage to get a few kills before going down, but honestly, fighting with the probes here is not what you want to see coming out from the Protoss player, and with these Ling reinforcements, I think we're seeing the end here.
Yeah, exactly. The fourth base, the fourth Nexus finally does go down for LunaSea. What does he have remaining here? Again, just I'm not too fond of just the Mass Gateway style, especially against Lingbane Roach Ravager. We see a Void Ray coming out, which will help. Nothing shoots up, but oh god, he just doesn't really have much else to work with.
Yeah, look at the soup. The soup lie does not lie.
Oh god, the soup doesn't lie, and LunaSea, look, he's trying to do what he can. His tournament life is on the line. If he loses this, he is out of the tournament. He wants to do whatever he can, and he's been trying his goddamn hardest, but there's only so much he can do with Blink Stalkers.
Yeah, like again, the problem with this gateway style is if you don't have the momentum on your side, they really aren't the best units that you can have. Like in these kind of comeback situations, you need the splash. And yeah, we're just seeing overwhelming forces coming out here from the ZergLord.
Yeah, exactly. Oh my god, even biling down that Oracle in the end. GG gets called. The ZergLord takes down his opponent 2-0 and moves on to the decider match.
Yeah, great to see this fighting spirit coming out from the ZergLord. Really, like, seems to be fired up from getting pushed into the losers match, and great showing there from him. And he's earned himself the rematch against QuanTa.
Should he be happy about that? Should he? Should he?
Mate, doesn't matter if he's happy about it. We're happy about it. We're gonna see the Thors, the power.
We know what we want. We are going to be getting that rematch, the ZergLord versus QuanTa. I highly recommend tuning into the VODs if you are tuning in late here. At the very start of the day, we casted a TVZ between the ZergLord and QuanTa, and it was something to behold. It was just an insane moment here of clarity and and revelation. We all saw the light.
Yeah, if you want to be included in the select few that got to say they were there when the new meta arrived through the hands of QuanTa, and honestly, it must be some kind of divine inspiration. It feels like it didn't just come from him, but through him. And but at the same time, yeah, I think ZergLord surely has been mulling over those losses. Like, those are painful losses when you see something that you know shouldn't work, but you don't really know why it shouldn't work, and you just get run over in these games. Yeah, definitely expect that if we see that kind of strategy again, he is going to have a different approach to it.
Yeah, like we saw him try and deal with it in multiple different ways, right? We saw initially mutas into broodlords into swarm hosts, right? And we saw maybe some potential with the swarm host earlier on. Then in the next game we saw a Hydra opener instead, but we never saw any Hydras. We're like, oh, Hydras, they could work. So maybe that's another, maybe Lunkers, like Hydra into Lunkers, the answer. Maybe.
Maybe, yeah. Well, I can't claim to be anywhere near as smart as the ZergLord has shown himself to be, so I'll be, really interested to see what he can come up with, or even maybe just some kind of all-in that he can do before they even get there.
Yeah, that could work as well, you know, end them before they get their first wave of Thors up and running, because you know that once that quad drop comes out across the map, it's over, mate. It's oh my god, bases are falling, like tech structures are falling down left and right as well. Like, it's crazy.
Mate, you gotta hide your queens, because if that quad drop sees those queens, they're just Gonskis.
Mate, the queens getting one shot was crazy. I'm gonna get nightmares of that. That was I was like, oh my god.
Yeah, I think it was 3 Thors, only 3 to one shot the queens, and they just got Thanos to me.
Yeah, they like 4-shot the hatchery. It was oh my god.
Yeah, it's kind of insane.
Yeah. I mean, I hope to see more of the same, not gonna lie. I hope we're able to get a little bit more of that, or maybe something else entirely. We'll see how this series transpires. Again, this will be our final series of the night, the decider match. Who moves on and who has to say goodbye? Who is done skis in this tournament?
It is going to be a shame to see one of these players go. We have seen such exciting strategies coming out from both of them, and it would be really cool to see, you know, what else that they can do in some of these other matchups as well. But yeah, I mean, at this point, there can only be one.
There can be only one. And speaking of being only one, predictions are now open. Everyone in the chat, you can place your bets. Who will win this series? Who will join Goblin in that playoff bracket? Who can be the next Amateur King?
Yeah, is it going to be the man who queen walks when he is not permitted to queen walk, or is it going to be the man who makes the Thors soar in the skies?
I think we all know what the answer should be, but we'll see. We'll see what happens here, mate. We shall see.
Mate, what if he queen walks him?
What if he queen walks the Thors?
What if he brings the queens to him and then the Thors can just evaporate them?
Oh
no.
Not like this. Not like this. I mean, mate, whatever it takes, you know, whatever whatever it takes to bring down the mech and Terran. Oh,
you know, it might be just what you need for the narrative. Like, if you queen walk into the Thors and the queens get evaporated, and you are like, mate, you guys nerfed the queen walk. Have you seen what this does to the queen walk?
True. Next patch, we need to buff queen walks to deal with the Thors, puppy. We need
Mate, forget Protoss. It doesn't matter. It's all about saving us from the Thor drops.
Exactly.
We have a common enemy.
Oh god. That's why I wanted QuanTa to do it against Protoss as well. That's what I wanted, because it would have worked. I'm telling you, against Goblin, going Phoenix into Colossus. I'm telling you, Thors, mate.
I think you've had enough copium for today.
Well, Thermal would have done it. He would have. I'm just saying, he would have done it.
Oh no.
I'm pretty sure that Thor all-in that he did, it worked against a Protoss player going Phoenixes. Just saying.
Yeah, he did it against Nice, I think.
Yeah.
And IAM. But that was only 1 or 2 Thors. He didn't do the quad Thor.
Exactly. He didn't know. He didn't know the power, mate.
Mate, what if he gets a hold of these replays?
Oh my god. No,
I don't think we're ready.
I know Migs has been a little bit smooge about TVP recently. I know what to show him. I know. Mate,
Smooge be gone.
I've got an answer for you, mate. I've got it.
It's the nicotine patch for the Smooge. It's the Thors, mate.
Oh god. We'll see. We'll see if it works out here, as we are now getting ready for our final series of this tournament, of this broadcast. Here we go, people. The rematch.
It's the same spawns.
And here we go, spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of Berlingrad LE. We have the Brazilian Zerg player himself representing Team Super. It is TheZergLord.
And spawning in the top left-hand corner, once again, keeping the dog alive like a good boy. We have the Team NV South Korean player. It is QuanTa.
The Prophet, mate. The Prophet. I'm just saying, it's not a coincidence, mate. Easter was just around the corner, you know. He led the Terrans through the desert, mate. He did it.
Mate, You know, we'll take any excuse for a public holiday in Australia. You can mark this date down. This is going to be the Thor's Day.
The Thor's Day, let's go.
When the prophet QuanTa was brought to us.
Oh god, he parted the lunkers, mate. He parted the ZergLord.
Just when we thought no one could save us from the lunkers, he was delivered to us. Beautiful.
What a god, mate. What a god.
True.
But maybe we're getting ahead of ourselves. You know, again, it's a fresh series, a fresh mindset, fresh vetoes, fresh maps. And QuanTa, he made Thor's work 2 games in a row. Maybe he has more to offer. Maybe he's got something else in store for us, you know?
Yeah, I mean, so far we're just seeing totally standard start coming out from both players. We're seeing the Reaper expand from QuanTa, just your usual hatch gas pool as well, potentially with a fast third coming as well. So pretty normal stuff so far.
Yeah, I guess the only notable thing here is the fact that the ZergLord did take the triangular third, so a little bit of a more aggressive third base for him. It's a little bit scary though, because this third is also a little bit vulnerable to the high ground, to the Thor drop.
Yeah, and immediately we are seeing QuanTa getting the Ling there, just a little bit at the mental edge straight away.
Yeah, it does shave off that Ling, and we can see that QuanTa is in fact going for that third CC before Starport.
Yeah, totally normal opening coming out from both players. Seeing the tumor go down as well in the natural for ZergLord, so none of that crazy 9 roach stuff. All pretty normal so far.
Yeah, no early rush or anything like that from the ZergLord, even pulled out of gases, so there won't be there shouldn't be an early roach one for him either. So everything's looking pretty standard here. I imagine, just like we've seen previously, QuanTa may be looking to go into Banshees to open things up, as we have seen him go into that in the past.
Just looks like a normal Banshee opening, but we have seen from him as well that doesn't really matter how the opening starts, he can still make these transitions, like these crazy swaps in strategy. And we did actually see it in that third game when he did open with the 3cc. It did look a lot better as well. He got into a really nice position with that.
Yeah, like that's what's crazy, mate. You know, like it doesn't matter what the opener is, he still gets into the Thors. He's cracked, mate. It's crazy.
All roads lead to Thors, and we are seeing again just kind of denying this Overlord and making the openings all look kind of similar. Again, this does look exactly the same as the BC opener that he did on this map previously, when he faked out the Banshees, but this time it is Banshees.
Yeah, this time it is going to be those Banshees. I'm sure he's going to wait for a handful of them before moving out. Meanwhile, we see... Oh! Raxus!
No.
He's going
You can't
fire.
make Thors out of those, mate.
Oh my god!
He's confused.
I'm telling... This is what he does, mate. Like, game 1, he lures you in. The trap, mate.
I see. It's the prophecy.
Look, you cannot rise without first falling, you know? You gotta... Jesus, you know, he had to rise from the grave first, puppy.
Yeah, you have to be dead first to become alive.
Exactly, mate, exactly.
We are seeing him be super annoying with these Hellions. Like, obviously, he's still very adept with this playstyle anyway. Like, he's a good player. He should be totally fine to go for the standard style. And we might even get to see as well the kind of things that ZergLord has in store for a bit of a more drawn-out TBZ.
Yeah, exactly. All the gases are being taken, or at least the gases in the natural, and one of them here at the third base. There it is, the next gas. So 6 gases in total. Lair is finishing up, so I wouldn't be surprised if the ZergLord does go straight into a Spire. Meanwhile, Banshees are sneaking on in, looking to find some of that damage. And oh my god, they're actually going to... Oh, they barely don't see the Spire. Oh.
Yeah, it just decides not to throw down the Spire, but at the same time, I would still like to see him put down that Spire. It is a good response to these Banshee openings. So I wouldn't be surprised to see him you know, get that down. Oh, and he changes his mind. Puts down a Hydrogen.
Yeah, what's interesting is that he puts down a Hydrogen in vision of the Banshees as well. So already QuanTa is able to get eyes on this. I don't know if the TheZergLord is going for a big brain move to eventually cancel this. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, you know what? Never let them know your next move. And
True.
it does look like he is going to go ahead with this Hydrogen.
Yeah, the Hydrogen does finish up. Finally, all these Banshees get cleaned up, but not before 8 drones go down. So honestly, some decent damage dealt there, and also some decent scouting.
Yeah, gets a bit of scouting, gets to see what the tech building is coming out of the Zerg, gets a little bit of damage. I don't think he's going to be too unhappy with that at all. And like knowing that there's no roaches or anything coming, he doesn't really need them for safety, and he's happy to just transition into bio.
Yeah, something that perplexes me a little bit is that we are seeing double armory being thrown down as well from QuanTa. Not the most common thing that you see, but yeah, I guess for double upgrades.
I have a feeling that because he used it to wall at the front, he might have actually forgot that he already had one.
Okay.
This is the kind of thing that does happen automatically sometimes. I mean, like, we'll see if he does end up using them to get the double upgrades, but yeah, bit weird. Definitely a bit weird.
Okay, we'll see. We'll keep an eye on that. Meanwhile, we do see a little bit of push here on the right-hand side. Lings are being dealt with. Bailey's going to be rolling on in as well. Do they find the connections? Decent connection on the Marines.
Yeah, definitely not bad connections at all. It does clean up the tank that was on the right as well. And meanwhile, the Hellbat's getting a little bit of damage on the left here as well. 7 drones going down. That's not bad at all.
Yeah, more than what really should have happened there. So QuanTa making use of those armories. There we go. One of the upgrades on the way. None in the main base. So yeah. we'll keep an eye on it.
Yeah, I think that might have been a bit of a mistake there. That's, yeah, happens to the best apparently. So there you go.
Yeah, exactly. What's crazy to me is that he's also got the upgrade going on the most exposed armory as well, which is a little bit monk-esque. But hopefully it doesn't. Nothing happens to it. Meanwhile, QuanTa has actually cleared out a lot of this creep, by the way.
Yeah, doing a fantastic job keeping on top of the creep, and with this tank still alive as well, it will, as I say that, taken down by the Lynx. But yeah, really nice to have that creep a little bit dissipated when you go for these slow pushes like this.
Oh yeah, exactly. As even more creep does get cleaned up. At the same time, we see a little bit of a Ling run by, but the army is not too far behind. Lings don't really do too much at all. And fun fact, QuanTa is in fact getting double armory upgrades.
Let's go.
It was completely planned, mate. Completely planned.
So when he gets drilling claws as well, I would expect to see 1 reactor factory for the mines and 1 tech lab factory, which sometimes is used for mines, but against mutas, you normally get like Thors with that. And we have seen what he can do with Thors.
True. You're not wrong, mate. You're not wrong, but we may not even get there as the main army of QuanTa is pushing in towards that 3rd base. We have Ling Bane here ready and waiting, but is it even going to be enough?
Yeah. Keeping in the theme with getting tech buildings in 2, we see 2 fusion cores going down, question mark?
Mate, the lib ranged Yamato type. GG!
GG! He knows what's coming.
Oh my god.
I really want to know what was going to happen with that.
I want to know as well. QuanTa takes game number 1. The TheZergLord, he just didn't have enough to really contend with it. The creep was all being cleaned up. He didn't have any lurkers, just had Ling Bane. And even then, he just didn't have a lot left over after trading so inefficiently early on.
Yeah, like you pointed out, with the creep gone like that, the pushes with the bio can get straight onto your hatcheries, and suddenly the momentum can just take away the game in an instant.
Yeah, it was quite sudden, but it was kind of like a slow death there. Death by 1,000 cuts. The TheZergLord was slowly whittled away by QuanTa. And QuanTa just showing off that, hey, he doesn't just have to, you know, whip out his Thor all the time. You know, he's got other things up his sleeve as well. He can just play standard, play straight up, and look terrifying.
Yeah, really cool to see him show his range in the matchup, showing that as much as he can be the prophet and show us the way of the future, he's still totally able to, you know, use this old, outdated style of bio.
Oh boy.
Maybe he'll show us the way in this section.
Oh god, maybe. I mean, we'll see if we're even gonna get to it here as we're setting up for game number 2. The TheZergLord taking a bit of a rough loss there. Again, quite sudden and quite just a little bit jarring as well. I hope that doesn't affect too much of the TheZergLord's mentality. I mean, what I will say is that at least on a map like 2K Atmospheres, which is the next map, he will have a little bit more breathing room and he'll have a little bit more freedom to get into his game.
Yeah, and I mean, we did see him in the first series do quite well on 2K Atmospheres as well. It is quite a good map for that Lingbane Hydra Interlurker style, and we saw him have a bit of success with that, so I wouldn't be surprised to see him go back to the well with that one.
Oh yeah, we'll see what he has to offer here. As we are loading on in, you can hear the beeps in the chat as we are getting into our map number 2, and oh boy, we'll see what happens, because I hope it doesn't just end here. I hope we get a full series. I hope we go to the ace match, but I feel like it does kind of depend on what our Terran has to offer.
Yeah, and meanwhile, his opponent, looking to tie up the series and give us that ace match, it is the Zerg player playing for Team Super, TheZergLord.
And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of 2000 Atmospheres LE, we have our South Korean Terran player himself representing Team NV, already up 1-0 in this series. He is the Terran prophet himself. Will he bestow upon us the ways of the Thor in the final game? Potentially the final game of the night. We'll find out. It is QuanTa.
You know what, maybe he was just prophesying again in that first game. He used the 2 armories and the 2 fusion cores to predict that he will make the 2-0.
Mate. It's all a sign, mate. It's all a sign. I'm gonna be honest, the double fusion core had to be intentional, right? Like, mate.
Yeah, I mean, they went down at the same time.
Yeah.
So I think so, but I have no idea what that's for.
Wait,
Mate,
so correct me if I'm wrong. Yamato, lib range,
yeah,
medevac speed?
Yeah.
Oh.
So, alright, let me theory craft here for a minute while we've just got the early game, while we've got enough time for my nonsense.
Go for
What
it.
if he was going for lib range and medevac speed, so he could load the Thors up into the medevacs, shoot them across the map, drop them in the main, and then use the lib range to block the ramp with the libs while the Thors kill everything.
100%. I think that's the only logical conclusion that we can reach from that.
That's how StarCraft was meant to be played.
I'll be real. If QuanTa wins this series, I'm gonna whisper him. Mate, game 1. Double fusion core. Explain.
Oh, he doesn't get the block. Oh, he gets the block.
Oh, he gets the double block as well. He gets the triple block. He gets the drone.
Oh no. Mate, he is brutal. He is relentless. He has no chill.
Oh my god. The TheZergLord denied the base. He will eventually get his third base up and running, but QuanTa delayed it by so much, and he's got his own third on the way.
Yeah, you did say coming into this game that you're hoping the mental of the TheZergLord is all good coming out of that first game, and man, that is a tilting experience for the Zerg to have your third stopped like that.
Oh my god. I mean, and somehow this Reaper is still alive, by the way. It is still alive. The TheZergLord, again, he's gonna eventually get this up and running. It's not the biggest of deals, but it's so annoying.
Yeah, I mean, like, people joke about this sometimes, that, like, if you get the first tumor, you win in ZVT or something like that, or if you get 2 Lings, like, that's basically, like, the mental victory. But ZVT, it is such a matchup of confidence. Like, these little things can sometimes be a big deal.
Oh yeah, yeah. And if we know anything about QuanTa, it's that he exudes confidence, mate. He is the biggest Chad out of all the Terran players out there.
Mate, he's a Thor-sized Chad.
Exactly, mate. Exactly. And he's opening up a little bit differently here. We do see Stim on the way, so it does seem to be a more bio-based composition once again. Feels bad. Oh, he cancels Stim! He cancels it, puppy!
Oh, let's go. So I was going to say, sometimes, usually when you see these Viking openings, normally you're hiding something with that Viking. Like, you really want to deny the scouting. Even if they go for Obi speed, you can usually, like, clear out the way like this and just get rid of any scouting or map presence that the Zerg has. So I'm going to expect, yeah, something pretty wild coming out from him if he wants to hide it that much to get the Viking. And immediately we see the double armoring. Is it happening?
We know what's happening, mate. We know exactly what is happening. We're going to be seeing a switch here with some of these buildings. We should be seeing some Thors on the way.
Yo, I don't want to get too ahead of myself, but I want to see a factory on that tech lab.
Do it, Poppy. Switch it. Oh, there
Let's
go. Oh my god.
You know what factories with tech labs can make? Like,
they can make Hellbats, mate. They can.
Let's go.
Let's go. Oh, the 1-1 timing as well. He's cracked, mate. He's cracked.
Yeah, this is a really fast 1-1, and like happened in the other game, this is pretty greedy, to be honest. But he has had such a good opening, and he's putting on so much pressure with these Hellions, pushing back all the map presence with the Viking, even sneaking this Lib into the main. I'm really liking this start for QuanTa.
Yeah, exactly. Liberator already dealing some damage here in said main base. Hellions rock up towards the fort, really just keeping the attention of the queens here on the front lines. It means that there can't be too many of them to deal with this Liberator, so... Oh, God.
You see what I see?
Yes, let's go!
He's here. He is here.
The daddy Thor is here. At the same time, we had a little bit of a Ling run by, but it does get cleaned up. Liberator finally gets cleaned up across the map as well. Hydras are on the way. So again, I'm lacking the response from the ZergLord. He doesn't really know what's happening. He hasn't scouted too much, but this time he may be setting himself up to be able to deal with it.
Yeah, Hydra Ling Bane here, especially on this map, just a really good kind of catch-all composition. You're really not going to be in like too much trouble against any particular thing. So I am, as I say that, I am kind of curious how it's going to go against these Thors if he doesn't get the scout beforehand and just goes into this composition that we did see that he didn't really like before.
Yeah. I mean, hopefully, right? Because if you remember previously, the ZergLord, he got all the Hydra upgrades, but he just never made any. So hopefully he's able to get some here in time, because the first wave of Thors are out. This is gonna hit with 1-1, which is the crazy thing about this.
Yeah.
it's mate, calculated.
There's 2 Thors, 2 medevacs, more Thors coming, 2 more medevacs coming. I think we're gonna see the 4th Thor drop.
Yeah.
Dude, this is so well timed out. Like, this is actually a build.
he's legitimately, he's just waiting for the 4s. He doesn't want to go out with 3. He wants all 4. He may even go with more.
Yeah, the 4th Thor is going to finish up just as this 4th medevac is finishing. Like, this timed out so well. 1-1 done, and yeah, off he goes with his 4th Thor hit squad. This is nuts.
Exactly. So this was scouted. There was a Ling that did confirm the Thors, and as soon as that happened, we did see a Roachhorn and a Spire thrown down. So I'm a little bit worried that the ZergLord, he's again just going for like a bit of a kitchen sink tech-wise. Like, he's throwing down as much tech as possible, and he doesn't have any Hydras. He only has Ling Bane Queen to defend.
Yeah, we did hear, like you referred to in that previous game, even though he got the Hydra upgrades, when he did see that it was his Thor drop coming, he did opt still for a Ravager Corruptor based composition. And it looks like he's still thinking that that's the answer, which it'll be interesting to see if he can do anything differently this time.
Yeah, exactly. At the same time, there was a bit of a Hellbat hit squad here on the right and the left that tried to get in, but the Ling Bane was able to be enough to deal with them. So QuanTa tried to go for like some tri-pronged attack. It didn't really quite work, but he's still able to snipe the queens. Oh my god.
This spot here is so annoying to deal with. This is one of the strengths that Terran has on this map, is this little dead space in between the main, the third and the fifth, where they can just bounce back and forth. It's what makes builds like the 2-on-1 really good on this map, and apparently the 4 Thor drop as well.
Yeah, exactly, mate. Meanwhile, the Thors have to be a little bit careful. Oh my god, as they do sustain a little bit of damage. They do trade relatively well against all these links. Oh, the micro is insane, mate. We need some mules. We need some repairs.
Yeah, I mean, really good trades against those links there. He does recognize that there's space to damage and gets all the Thors out. I would like to see him, though, take these Thors home and repair them up.
Yeah, I would like that as well. Meanwhile, he did switch things up. Instead of making mass Thor, he did switch into tanks here. So QuanTa is kind of adapting his own style. 2-2 is on the way as well. A little bit delayed as he was focusing a little more on his push. He has to be a little bit careful not to be overeager, though.
Yeah, a bit more of a standard mech army here, and to be honest, with the Rav Bane response that TheZergLord has been going for throughout this series. Oh, and a lot of Thors going down there.
Yeah, exactly. Only one Thor remaining. At the same time, the Ling Bane Roach Ravager is going to collapse on this army that just isn't enough buffer. Everything here is going to get cleaned up.
Yeah, so as I was saying, this Rav Bane composition that he was going for is a fantastic response to typical mech, and with QuanTa actually going into a more normal mech composition, you can really see how effective that is.
Yeah.
And suddenly, TheZergLord's in a fantastic position.
I think he's just showing us this is what happens when you don't make mass Thor.
Yeah, true.
Oh my god, the Thor is out. We do have a couple of tanks in the back line, but the Ravagers are going to force a cancel on one of these CCs. QuanTa's still, though, on a very healthy worker count, and he does deflect that first push.
Good spot economically, but like we said that we would like to see him get those Thors repaired up, he did lose almost all of them, except for this one that is still being a nuisance of the Bane now, so he is on the back foot now.
Yeah, he really is. Here we go. The Banelings are done. They are rolling on in. They want to kill on that Planetary, and they looks like they will be able to get it at the same time, though. Planetary goes down. Oh, the Thors are able to force back the rest, though.
Yeah, just wrapping around, getting a few workers as well, which is really important in this situation. And we can see that TheZergLord is on 90 drones, so he's going to be pretty happy as long as he can keep safe at home to just keep on trading out these cost-inefficient armies.
That's a... The Thor finally gets cleaned up. That was a 23 kill Thor, by the way. That was a 23 kill Thor. Jesus Christ. Finally, the TheZergLord reclaims control of his side of the map. As you said, he is done droning. He's honestly in a really good position. QuanTa, for the time being, has to back off. He has to kind of focus on just establishing his 4 bases, turtling up, and getting back into what he does best, and that is the Thors. Oh my god. But please repair your Medivacs before you move out, puppy. Oh my god.
Yeah, I'm sure he will. But yeah, just that tank push he did at the start really didn't work out that well for him, and seeing the error in his ways, he's gone back to the tried, true, and tested mass Thor.
Ooh, yeah, exactly. But you know what? The Thors are taking a lot of biles to the face, but it doesn't even matter because the Ling Bane is enough to break on through. The tanks are doing a lot of damage on the back line. Thors are doing a great job as a buffer, and QuanTa, he defends without losing any of his workers. Yeah,
but losing a few of those Thors as well, bit of an issue for him. I think TheZergLord is quite happy to just keep on trading out his kind of like cheaper units in the Roaches and Ravagers for these big expensive Thors. And as long as he can keep the action on QuanTa's side of the map, he's going to be a lot more comfortable than he was in those other games. But as I say that, the double Thor drop.
The double Thor drop is here. Unfortunately, not 4 Thors, only 2. So he is able to take out a couple of the Roaches as well as the Spine Crawler here towards the top left. And this is the thing that QuanTa has to focus on, right? You're talking about how the economy hasn't really been touched too much. That's because the Thor drop earlier was dealt with. Like, we need more Thors. We need more of an active army here for QuanTa across the map.
Mate, we need 4. That's what we need. It's a magic number. We've seen it.
Exactly, mate. Exactly. It's exactly what we need. We do have a couple more medevacs here, but at the same time, he's trying to establish this fresh new base. Ooh, already one of the tanks does get bowed down.
Yeah, and I love this out of ZergLord, using the space that he's created for himself with his constant trades with the Ravagers and Banes. He is teching up to try to find a more permanent solution for these doors, and he's getting Pathogen Glands and Neuroparasite, which is a really great solution.
Yeah, exactly. How do you deal with Thors? Usually, you make them your own. Infestors are a great way to help deal with them as long as they're able to close the distance. There we go. Neuroparasite is on the way. It's still not done yet. So it's still going to be a little bit of time before he is ready. At the same time, the ZergLord committing quite hard here to the third base.
Mate, ZergLord, he's seen the light. He's seen how good this Thor strategy is, and he's like, there's only one way I can beat it. I need my own Thors.
He knows, mate. He knows. He needs his own Thors. The Baneys are going to be rolling on in. At the same time, we do have that bit of a Thor drop here towards the top left, but it is not going to be enough. Oh, meanwhile, this army isn't having the best trades here. Oh, it does collect some biles. Oh my god.
Ooh, huge biles.
Oof.
Yeah, just kind of poking around, seeing what he can do, making sure that he keeps that map presence, and you can really see that, like, with the momentum more on his side in this game, QuanTa can't be like sniping off all that tech like he was in that previous series, and that's enabled ZergLord to start doing things like teching into the Neuroparasite.
What I will say though is that QuanTa is now getting close to maxed out, and his army is not looking too bad. It's not just mass Thor. We have a couple of tanks being thrown around, exposed tanks I should say. Liberators are on the way as well. Lib range, I'm sure not too far off, but oh god, the ZergLord, he finds another weak point in the defenses of QuanTa.
Yeah, and actually he does need to trade out a little bit of his supply so he can start getting into those infestors, and he will get the PF as well, so really nice value for him now.
Yeah, exactly. The planetary goes down. At the same time, we do have another Thor drop across that. Finally, QuanTa is dealing some economic damage. He's trying to get the Nexus. Can he get, sorry, the hatchery? Can he get it in time, though?
Yeah, a bit of desperation, even using the Banes to try to take them out, but yeah, 3 Thors. Not quite 4, but good enough.
Good enough to take that hatchery, but you know what? The infestors are coming in. They're getting the neurals off.
Oh, and the TheZergLord has been activated.
Your Thors are now my Thors. Just like that, the ZergLord is going to be able to clean all of this up. The Lings flood in as well. Thors all get surrounded. And again, even though you can have see like the armies kind of did trade with each other, but again, QuanTa's army was just that much more expensive.
Yeah, really like slow to build up expensive army from QuanTa, so I'm sure ZergLord's pretty happy with how this is all going so far, denying another base as well. And keeping QuanTa on only 4 bases is, yeah, really done a great job so far in this game of changing things up and keeping the front foot.
Yeah, QuanTa's just really having a hard time getting his 5th up and running. It's on the way for like the 3rd time right now, and by the time it's up and running and ready to go, the ZergLord, I'm sure, is going to be ready to just hammer on and just like smash it down once again. QuanTa, he lost his tanks earlier. He's trying to work on some Liberators, which will help. He's going for another bit of a drop, but he just needs time, and I just don't think the ZergLord is going to give it to him.
Yeah, the ZergLord on a really healthy drone count that really just hasn't been challenged too much this game is able to keep printing out these Banes and Ravagers, which is just a really good way to deal with this mech army. At the same time, also seeing a little bit of harass coming out from QuanTa, doing a good job here.
Yeah, he doesn't get a handful of these drones, forces some lost mine time, another double drop here towards the left-hand side. Yo, this one could be dealing some damage as well. I just wish we had more than 2. Unfortunately, QuanTa just can't afford to because, you know, because of how much pressure the ZergLord is exuding across the map.
Mate, I see 2 more Thors in medevacs. He knows what he needs to do.
He needs to go! He needs to go, puppy! Aye, aye, aye! But he can't! The Ravagers are here!
Yeah, really good pressure and map presence for the entire game, really, from ZergLord with these Ravager armies. And he does have more infestors once again, so I think he'll be looking to take another fight similar to the last one.
Exactly. At least QuanTa was able to take down this base towards the top left. So again, he's not taking this line down. He is still harassing wherever he can. It's just not the most significant harassment. Like the TheZergLord has a pretty massive bank. Not the biggest mineral bank, but he's got 2k in gas. That's a lot of gas. And he comes in and he takes more Thors.
Yeah, and we are seeing really cool response there from QuanTa as well, looking to drop the Thors on top of the Infestors, but he might not have a scan here, actually.
Yeah, he doesn't have a scan, but you know what? The Infestors run out of energy anyway, and the Thors clean it up. What?
Yeah, don't really know what happened in that fight, but suddenly QuanTa's in a brilliant position. And
mate, that fight was... we were even in army supply, and suddenly the TheZergLord plummets.
Yeah, and as you said before, his minerals are really low, and just like that, the game is over.
Oh my god!
What just happened?
Oh, he made a wave of corruptors, and obviously corruptors are not what you want in that situation. I think what happened there is the TheZergLord, he took over a bunch of Thors, and he's like, let's go, and he tries to fight. And then suddenly the energy runs out, and suddenly all those he didn't target down his own Thors with his Thors, right? That's usually what you want to be doing, right? You want to be killing your opponent's army once you take them over, but he didn't do that, and suddenly QuanTa.
I just wonder if with all that supply and corruptors, maybe 3 Infestors was not really enough to go for that move, because there was like 10 plus Thors, and the 3 Thors just weren't able to produce the DPS needed. And yeah, once again, QuanTa looking a little shakier in the first half of that game, just goes into that pure mass Thor again and pulls it off.
Wow. I am shocked just because he was on the back foot. Like, he wasn't taking the best trades. He, like, time and time again, he couldn't get his 5th base up and running. He was struggling to remax, and it didn't even matter because all you need is Thor.
Yeah, like, honestly, condolences to TheZergLord going out like that, because he did make some adjustments there, and he was playing a fantastic game there. Like, he had all the right ideas in place, but you could just see that one mistake there against the powerful mech army, and he just got steamrolled at the end of that.
Yeah, I you know what? I'm messaging QuanTa.
Oh yeah. You have to ask him about the double fusion core.
Before the game ended, you had 2 fusion cores on the way. Was there a plan with that?
Mate, there's always a plan. Maybe you shouldn't give it away. Maybe that's going to be something that we see coming into future rounds of the Amateur King. Are there any Zergs in the... Actually, you know what? There's no Zergs in the upper bracket, so...
True. There's never any Zergs, mate.
Feels bad, mate. Dead race.
Dead race. GG, well played. Congratulations to QuanTa. He does take the 2-0 lead. And I messaged QuanTa, and I was like, was there a game plan? He's like, oh, did I? Mistake.
Just ask him to make something
make
up.
Make it up.
Just tell us a story, Bob.
Oh my god. But with that, GG, well played. I'm just switching scenes over here. Everyone can have a look at how the group has transpired today. It was wild, it was crazy, it was back and forth. And as you pointed out, no Zerg players are going to make it to the playoffs.
Yeah, really interesting. In the playoffs, we're seeing all TVPs. And so our 2 players that went forward today, Goblin and QuanTa. Goblin will be going on to face CranKy Ducklings' very own Vindicta, and QuanTa Rebellion awaits him.
Oh yeah. Exclamation mark B in the chat if you want to have a look at the brackets yourselves. Again, the playoffs have been secured. A lot of great players there. Rebellion, QuanTa, Vindicta, Goblin, Trigger, Baby Marine, Stephen Curry, and Hon Mono. Some of the best Terran and Protoss that we have to offer. And yeah, It's gonna be crazy. I think the saddest thing about that is that, again, QuanTa won't be showing off his mass lore.
That's what you think.
That's what I I hope I'm wrong, mate. I hope I'm wrong.
Yeah, so really awesome group today. Good to see such like creative and wide-ranging strategies. It's a little bit sad as well that going into the quarterfinals, we're not going to see our like more creative Zergs like 3-Point and ZergLord in there showing us these wild strategies. But yeah, like you said, some really fantastic players and really nice matchups coming up there. I'm actually myself like really excited to see how Stephen Curry versus Hon Mono is going to go. I know they're pretty evenly matched players, those two, and they both have some really exciting PvTs, so that could be a bit of a sleeper there. I'm looking out for that one.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, a lot of these matches are going to be amazing, right? Stephen Curry and Hon Mono, as you said, are going to be really close. Vindicta and Goblin, that is a rematch from last season's finals, so that's going to be intense. Trigger versus Baby Marine. I don't get to see enough of Baby Marine, so I want to see what he has to offer. As of course, you know, the little brother of Raynor. So we'll see if he can do something special there. Like, I think every single series has something to offer, even Rebellion and QuanTa.
Yeah, I mean, mate, if I get to see a Thor, I'm happy. I'm happy, man. That's all I want.
True.
Simple man.
Oh my god. And with that, thank you so much everyone for tuning in today. I hope everyone enjoyed themselves here. I can see why is light in a shroom forest. Mate, it's almost 3 a.m. mate. Okay, something's gonna keep me up. Oh my god.
Oh no.
And yeah, congratulations to all the players. Asher, do you have anything else you want to add before we head off?
Yeah, just nothing else. I will be starting my new religion. Tomorrow's Sunday, so we will have our inaugural service. We will be creating 4 Thors and 4 medevacs, and we will be worshipping, as we will every Sunday from now on.
Oh my god! I want to take it to the Terrans in the chat, mate. A Korean pro player, semi-pro player, whatever you want, QuanTa. All right, he has shown us the way with Thors. Try it yourselves.
Yeah, honestly, I mean, like we have the replay cast redemption on this channel for channel points. If anyone can try that out and do that on ladder and make that work, that would be really cool to see.
That'd be amazing. And I hope we get to see some of that. At some point. But yeah, everyone, I hope everyone had a great time. If you enjoyed our cast and if you want some more, then hit that follow button. We're live here almost every single day of the week with some StarCraft, whether it's Korean StarCraft, North American, Latin American, Southeast Asian, Oceanic. And our next broadcast, if you want a little bit more of our casting action, is in 20 minutes.
Oh my. Oh no.
I am gonna be live with Kuro soon in around 15 to 20 minutes with NA Apprentice, NA Circuit. Let's go.
R.I.P. Light.
Oh god. Look, I may have thought that it was tomorrow. I may have thought that it was another day, and then it wasn't another day. It was today. So,
mate, I hope you got the coffee. I hope you got the Red Bull. I hope you got the QuanTa replays.
I will be getting it ready. So we're gonna be casting Group C of NA Apprentice Grand Finals. I should say Apprentice Esports Grand Finals for 2022. Group C is as follows: Beastork, BioIce, Mindle VK, and Patty Mac. So a lot of Protoss and some Zerg as well. Oh boy, that is why I want to apologize. Quirky did redeem a replay cast, and usually we cast the replay straight after our tournament. But because I don't have much time to get ready for the next cast, we will cast it, but after Apprentice Esports. You got a lot of casting to do. Oh, God. So thank you everyone for tuning in. Thank you so much. Asher, do you have anything else you want to add before we head off here and go on a bit of a break?
Well, I have no socials because I'm a cat and I'm anti-social. But what about your socials, Light?
Shaking my head, mate. Shaking my head. Exclamation mark. Casters in the chat. There you go. You can follow me at light_VIP on Twitch and Twitter. I do stream throughout the week. If you want to tune into a Zerg player who is struggling to beat Protoss, who is struggling to beat Mech, then I got you. I got everything you need, mate. Oh my god, you can follow me there. Otherwise, again, the CranKy Ducklings, we are live throughout the week, almost every single day, especially this week because DreamHack is in a couple of days. It's in less than a week. The DreamHack qualifiers are going to be upon us, and we here at the CranKy Ducklings are going to cast every single region except for Europe. Let's go! North America, Latin America, Oceania, China, Taiwan, Hong Kong. It's all going to be here on the CranKy Ducklings. And this is something that every single pro player has been working towards from every single region. If you want to tune into TheZergLord from Latin America, to Vindicta in North America, Oreo, Starduck, everyone is going to be a part of this. So be sure to be there because it's going to be the most important event of 2022.
Go. That's awesome. I'm so hyped for that.
Let's go. And with that, I now only have 13 minutes to get ready. So thank you so much, everyone, for watching. We're going to head off. Bye.
Bye.